Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Some room that way? Was the room? I don't know.
Okay. Start out with our guests. Let me steal this here. Young ADP Representative Chuck Walder, Frank Antonucci, Mike Dorta, Caitlin Salatini, Lily, and Tracy Ramini. We'll be discussing putting our pretty faces on full-time camera TV.
Really know where to go, but I'll kind of jump in here. So, in the course of, I don't even remember, some discussions, we talked about the cemetery applications, which we're working toward, and I will give a light update on that. I know the board voted in that direction, and then we got the data. We're able to extract a lot of the digital data from CryptKeeper, thanks to the credentials. It's more limited in there, but you have very extensive historical data. So we have that kind of all accumulated, and now you're basically in the queue after, I believe, Chardon Township, who we're currently working with right now. So it's moving forward, which is good. Once we get through the Chardon thing, then we have a kickoff meeting and start talking, but we at least know the data is accessible right now. So that's really good. Somewhere in the course of all that, we started talking about either live streaming or video production or something or another here, right? I think when we talked about potentially being able to display the Esri mapping system, and I think none of the COVID era stuff worked or anything like that, and then maybe Dan, we went back and forth. I don't even remember how it came about. But ultimately, we started working with our preferred vendor on that in terms of what we could set up for Auburn Township that would work for live streaming needs, some sort of a current modern TV infrastructure that would work, right? So what we did is we reached out to Just Add Tech. We met with some of your people on site here. I know Mike and some of the team was out here, and basically put together a piece that would make sense for this room, which is a little bit of a difficult room, and there's obviously a ton of people here, so I'm sure live streaming would benefit a lot of people. But basically what we looked at was a very simple, user-friendly setup if the township wanted to go in this direction that you could easily utilize for your meeting. So pretty much one camera mounted over there, microphone somewhere centered over here, sort of a TV infrastructure kind of thing, and then it would just shoot right to YouTube, touch of a button, go into a video database, and that's basically it. The company Just Add Tech would do all the hardware installation, some of the training. We'd help with some of the training. We would not expect you to set up your own YouTube page. That's something that we could help you with as well. From ADP does very good with that stuff. So we could work all that with you. What you have is a quote. I don't know if you were able to get that to them in time, Dan. I know I didn't get that to you till late, but
Yeah, we got it.
so that's basically the gist of what we're looking at here. We've done several of those installs now, and they are very user-friendly and simple, and that was the notion. You don't want a tech person having to be out here, right? And I don't think that's the responsibility of the board member if you're trying to conduct a meeting. So that's the goal: simple, easy to use, live streaming, video production, to at least get your residents in the loop, get more information out there, but then also be able to potentially work in a larger scheme in the future if you've got TVs or something like that where you want to showcase presentations or whatever you want to do. But that's the notion, but basically replacing some of the outdated stuff and then giving you something more modern. So I don't know if there's any questions on the quote. It's coming in right around, I think, $3,200 or something like that.
Yeah, $32.90 is. So this live streams right onto YouTube?
Yes, sir.
We have our own YouTube designated.
You do not, correct, right now?
Now we don't.
Correct. So we would actually set up the YouTube page for you. We'd create a channel within there, so then any of your residents, much like the county commissioners do, if I just go to Auburn Township, whatever you set your YouTube page up to be, subscribe to your channel. As soon as you guys go live with your meeting here, it sends me an email. I just click on the link, and then I'm watching your meeting live, and I don't have to be here. Not that I don't want to be here.
You've been here before, you know what a hoot it is.
But it is fun to be able to watch the meetings in your pajamas.
Okay, and then these videos are then stored on the YouTube page?
Correct. They
Okay,
become.
So we have a whole library then of.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, we do that at the county level in terms of the ADP YouTube page, which we've run for a long time now. So the catalog is there all the way back, I don't know, 8 years ago. searchable and all that sort of thing.
Any other townships implement this as of yet?
So Russell Township has moved forward with the whole process, they just haven't greenlit it to finish it off yet, they have most of that. I'm trying to think, I know South Russell Village live streams their meetings.
It's a little different, though.
It is different, it's a more archaic technology, but it works. You're one of the first, I think, to look in this direction.
Yeah, Bainbridge is,
Yep.
they're rewiring everything.
They are,
I
well,
think they're doing that
I-
with the sub.
Yes, I think they want to get through their big issue first.
Well, yeah, they kind of had to redo that building,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But I think that's a good point,
Yes.
PJ. That is part of the project. I know I was talking to Janice about that at a retirement party. Going in that
Sorry,
direction.
there, I was
Yeah.
talking to Bates about that.
Yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. So they're going in that direction too.
Okay.
And what, how ADA compliant is it?
Well, fortunately, because it's YouTube's infrastructure, you fall under their ADA compliance. They're totally responsible for that, and they are because they're YouTube. So you wouldn't have to deal with that. It's nice. I mean, you don't have anything hosted here except, so basically, the existing hardware connection would kind of go back into a rack in one of those closets or something like that. We'd hardwire it. We'd work with Just Add Tech to get that done for you. And then you're not storing any of that stuff here. It's just all in wherever YouTube servers are. I don't know. California, probably.
Frank, you want to touch on comments, the type of comments that are available on the channel?
Yeah, I mean, you can limit comments or you can open them. It's really your call as to what you want. I think you have to talk to your prosecutor for that. But basically, if you set up the page initially with comments, based on law, and I'm not giving you legal advice here, once you set it up and you leave comments, you gotta leave them open. If you set it up without comments, I think the law is you don't have to let at that point. That's up to you, though. I think the county commissioners have comments open. I don't know if anybody else does. Board of Elections has something similar, but they don't do comments.
They have little heart emojis that you can.
Yeah, well, that's,
Only when you talk, Dan.
that's the live chat. So there's kind of two, there's kind of like two comment areas.
Don't worry about.
There's the historical comments that you can turn on or off at the onset. But then during the actually presentation, people can live chat, and those are not stored. That's only during the session. And there's been some confusion with people saying, well, all my comments disappeared. Well, because they did it in live chat, and once the channel shut and closed, the chat goes away.
When we talked earlier about the cemetery program, there was a moderator, there were some comments, some comment availability even on that cemetery program, and you mentioned something about could be moderated.
By whoever you designate.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, you can talk to Hampton Township about this. Dave Johnson was super instrumental. That Catherine was too. But essentially, if you have residents that want to leave a nice note on some gravesite or something like that, first your admin, which we talked to Lorraine about that, right? She'd have to approve that so people couldn't say, wild things people are today. You have the final approval on that. It's more of a in memoriam kind of a thing, though.
You would hope so.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
So if we do pull the trigger on this, what would be the time frame for implementation?
Actually, I don't know, do you know Dan's schedule these days?
Usually no more than 2 to 3 weeks.
There you go. So once we get it going with the vendor, you get all that approved, 2 to 3 week build at that point, within a couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah. They move fast. We've been very happy with their product. They're local, they're very responsive. And then we would also do that very jointly. We typically don't throw a vendor at the township and say you're on your own. We would be there for the entire process and assist with that. So really, the main point of this was to get this in your hands, get the information, let the board kick it back and forth. Obviously, this is on your time frame. We just want to provide the information. I think in terms of what townships are seeing, and obviously you have a great turnout for your residents, which is fantastic. I know when I was a township trustee, we had one person who came to every meeting. But people have a desire more now to see what's going on in their townships and their government. They're wanting transparency. It's a really good thing. How you do that is up to you, but we're finding that cheap investment in infrastructure like this tends to go a long way and gets people connected, especially if you have a small building and a really small parking lot.
And we managed to back the room tonight because we said Chuck was going to be giving autographs.
Yeah, he is,
so-
yeah. He's passing out chairs.
I heard the board was providing pizza and drinks. That's the only reason I came. I don't know, maybe that's not true,
Aren't
but
you supposed to be picking that up now?
was that my job to do?
Any questions from the audience? or?
I noticed like with the Jones put their video up on YouTube, it transcribes, you could do like closed captioning, and you can even just search, so whether our meetings are short or long, if you just want to watch a segment of it, and I've done this, when you open it up, you can just Control F and it goes through the meeting, and you can go right to the spot you want. So it's a lot more efficient than scanning minutes. Minutes are great, and this doesn't replace minutes, obviously, this is just supplemental information. And it's probably a good time to say, a lot of you in the crowd know how hard the Jones have worked over all these years. So we've almost been a step ahead already by having this video documentation. And so many people refer to it when something's out of context or mannerisms, and we don't exactly have it in the minutes. The minutes have gotten longer, they've gotten more detailed, but really nothing beats the quality of a video if you need to really see what happened. So I personally want to thank them for all the years. How many years?
Oh, since about 2000 and, yeah.
So tons and tons of time invested in this. And I still refer to old videos and appreciate it, so thank you for that. That's all.
Thank you.
Frank, we'll take a quote for the hearing.
Okay,
We'll
so,
go over that tomorrow.
yeah, I would just say, kick it back and forth, let us know what you want to do with that. As I said, Russell, the infrastructure's already there, so we're really just kind of waiting on them to green light and figure it out. But if you guys go this direction, you would be up next in the queue at that point then, so.
Now, from that video, we could get a transcript and there's also, isn't
So
there?
YouTube does offer automatically generated closed captioning for any video you put up there. The accuracy does vary
Yeah.
based on how clearly people speak, but that is there.
The South Russell does that. Do you guys have to install any speakers, or does it come right through the video?
So it would be captured by the single microphone,
Okay.
that boom area mic that would hang somewhere right about the middle of the table. And there's fortunately no audio system in place to feed it back to currently. So that would be going just to the video.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think you need audio in the room, right?
Yeah, but even if, compared, especially if you have a long meeting, when you're transcribing, it's still gonna take you to 95%, even if you have to do some auditing.
That's optimistic. Maybe-
90%? 80.
You're getting there.
Okay.
There's AI technology out there that does meeting transcription, which we are experimenting with Bainbridge. I think we've talked to Lorraine about that a little
I think that's
bit.
what South Russell's using, is the AI generally.
Yeah, they transcribe, get the transcription from YouTube and, upload it and then
Yes.
use.
Standalone AI devices tend to be better than some of these video feeds. We use Otter AI at the county. It's mildly accurate. I would not rely on it yet.
We use Otter on all of the Budget Commission and BOR meetings, but we still have an audio recording independent of that, and then we fact check to the other device. AI just isn't perfect yet, and we don't want to rely on it quite yet.
All right.
Is there any reason why the board can't decide tonight? I mean, we've been kicking this around for a while, they were out a month ago. What else is there to look at?
I don't know, because we haven't looked at it.
There we go. In fact, you even approved the appropriations for it on the 16th, live stream ADA website, so the money's there, the board's approved it already. I'm just wondering what else is there to look at?
I'm not gonna look at it.
Pardon me?
Me personally, I'm not ready, if you guys are ready. I mean, like I said, the first that we heard of this was the appropriation and the vote last week, so this is all new, and
It was over a month ago you were here, right, Frank? I mean, so we talked about
2
it
months
back in
ago.
February.
I think February.
I mean, what more do you want? I mean, I'll go do whatever you want me to do. What do you want me to do?
right now, nothing, until the board makes a decision.
Okay. So I guess,
I mean, if you want us to make a decision, you can order somebody to make a decision.
I can't order you to do anything. All the board needs is a motion.
I'll make the motion to implement ADP video recording for the meetings.
Yeah, well, the motion would be for the money involved for the purchase of the equipment. So you might want to include that, but, yeah, I think the board's committed to going this direction. You know, we dipped our toes in this with COVID.
Yep,
Like
I remember.
everybody had to, just to stay compliant.
Yeah.
And then it kind of sounds like not only us, but most of the other townships got out of it shortly afterwards.
Well, you know how it goes, PJ.
I
People got the technology in 2020, 2021 because they got it with grants.
Mhm.
And then they sort of let it sit there, and then the law changed where you couldn't have some of the virtual voting and some of the other things, and people kind of forgot about it, and now you've got 6-year-old technology hanging on a lot of walls that people don't use.
We had a trustee that had some health problems.
Yeah.
He actually attended via Zoom for several meetings.
I think that people are coming full circle on that, and they're getting back into it now, in terms of these townships.
Honestly, I hope that never comes around again for the actual members of this board or whoever's on this board, but yeah, for residents to participate, why not, you know? So, you wanna mention?
Money
Yes.
and implementation.
Yeah, well, go hand in hand.
I'll motion to implement ADP video recording and at the cost of the hardware, $3,290.
I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
That was easy.
Okay, so our next steps will be then to coordinate with the vendor and start getting going on this. Who would the township designate to be that point person to let us in the building, work with us, make those decisions when we're out here and where we're allowed to pull cable and all that stuff? We just need somebody that we can stay in contact with.
I'll volunteer if no one else wants to.
So you're the IT technology liaison?
If we want one.
Is that a motion?
Motion for me to,
Be the IT technology liaison?
Yeah, this is for the hardware, right? For
The
the,
install, yeah, coordination, yeah. We just need somebody who I can call and say, hey, we need.
I'll make the
help.
motion. Wait a second.
yeah, I'll second.
More.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
yes.
Michael.
Yes. I just wanted a motion so you couldn't get out of it.
That's right. I live up the road, I'll come down.
So you'll handle all IT technology related to the township. Great.
All right, we will make the vendor aware tomorrow then. We'll get you in the loop on it. Obviously, we wouldn't do it with another trustee. You don't have a sunshine law issue, no open meetings thing. Maybe Dan, you want to be involved. And then obviously it'll be up to you to brief the rest of the board at the public meetings then. Any other questions?
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna sell our chairs, if that's okay.
Wow.
You guys can leave now, we need the room.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Good presentation.
Okay. Next guest is Ted Mraz, the Crackle Road proposed racetrack.
Well, thank you for giving me a moment here to talk about this. I have an agenda of an opening statement. I want to list some concerns and a call to action to the trustees. To start with, opening, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am Ted Ross. I'm here as a resident of Auburn Township to voice my concerns about a motocross track being built at 19122 Munn Road. To date, the only information available about its construction that I'm aware of was a letter mailed in November 25th. It was stated that a track was to be built. Riding activities would be limited to 10 motorcycles except for special events. A sprinkler system would be installed for dust control and assurances to comply with township ordinances. This was a letter that was dropped in my mailbox. My quick internet research indicated that an organized motorcycle track could have potential negative impact on our township's property values. residential lifestyle, tax revenues, school revenues, law enforcement, and environment. So I did a little bit of research on it. Further research showed that the land is actually zoned as R1, and to my knowledge and understanding, it would not be approved for this type of use, be approved or be allowed to build. Because of the potential impact, I felt it important to raise the issue and seek your assurance that, number one, this is on your radar. Number two, there was a process to review the request to build this track. And three, if it is allowed, that the known impacts of a motocross track are being addressed and the residents will be protected from the things that I'm going to talk about in just a second. And these concerns will be later in the document. As you are aware, there's a petition that's been created and signed by over 280 residents asking the township actually to enforce the R1 property rules and stop the construction of the track. I want to point out that I am not the originator of the petition or promoting a social media movement, but I will say that most of my concerns are in alignment with what I've read in the petition. Any questions so far? So the concerns and potential impact to the township residents, I have 8. Number one, zoning. A motocross track located in an R1 residential zone appears to be a code violation. Number two, concern about declining property values. This could create a financial loss for residents. Simple research on the AI engines out there reveals similar situations in the U.S. where property values have dropped up to 30% and possibly more. Homes in close proximity, a 1 to 2 mile radius, could realize substantial losses in the value of the property. Homes bordering the property lines may become unsellable. Hardship on residents, number 3. People have invested their life savings in homes here with the expectation of a quiet, rural, residential environment being secured by R1 zoning regulations. The motocross track is going to bring a totally different level of regular weekly disturbances, well beyond what an R1 resident would reasonably expect. Number 4, excessive noise. Noise levels are a significant complaint of tracks close to residential housing. As an example, a typical dirt bike, and this is from information that I've been able to research, typical dirt bike generates 90 to over 100 decibels, and typical ordinance for sound control is 55 to 60. Repetitive noise can also take its toll as well. So, I'll just say that, all day, every day, Saturday and Sunday. It'd be kind of whining. Number 5, dust and dirt. Motocross tracks are typically void of vegetation and ground cover. Dust and dirt will travel from the track with the wind and settle on neighbors' homes, vehicles, and outdoor spaces. Number 6, impact to law enforcement. If the noise levels become a problem, this will become a drain on law enforcement. Based on everything that you can find in research on the internet, you're going to see that this is probably one of the #1 complaints about these types of tracks and the drain on the system. Number 7, there could be some other financial risk for the township. If you have your property values start to decline, you may see a domino effect. You reduce the township and school tax revenues, and it can also limit future revenues because of reluctance to build new houses around this facility. Number 8, environmental concerns. I'm assuming someone is going to be looking at the air quality, exhaust, dust, soil erosion, stormwater, ground and water contamination. So it brings me to a call of action here. So I'm respectfully asking the board to do 3 things. 1, clearly affirm whether a motocross track is permitted or not permitted in an area zone R1. Number 2, if the track is not permitted, please direct the zoning staff and legal counsel to take all lawful steps to prevent the establishment of this track before any further development proceeds. Or, if the track is permitted, please advise on what actions are being taken with the owner during the permitting process, inspection, long-term ordinance compliance, to assure there'll be no to assure there'll be no impact to property values or residential lifestyles. I think that's reasonable. And the third one is please communicate to the township's position and propose actions clearly and promptly to the property owner and to the residents, so there's no confusion about this, because there is a lot of confusion right now. And about what your expectations are and the level of protection the board is going to commit to the residents. And with that, I thank you for your time. If there's any questions.
Frank, you want to address just quickly that confirming
To date-
that it is,
To date, there is nothing. There is no application, there's no indication, there's no activity that a dirt track is being conducted. So, he has a letter from our office, a copy of which was sent to him, was sent to the prosecutor, and she responded, and that's where it is. I know the gentleman has purchased additional land in Troy Township. That's all I know, but he has not, I spoke with him in the last week and a half, and he had no indication to me that he's building a track. He's put 15, he has a CAUV on the property, which means that, and in his application, 15 acres of the 25 acres is in a pasture form, so I don't know how he can get a CAUV if he has a track on it. Here again, if it's a one-person track, I can't stop that. I can't stop anybody in this room from getting in that four-wheeler or a bike and riding it on their property. Where it becomes an issue, yes, if he has a whole bunch of people, and he's charging, that's a different situation.
because he had a plan, that's what his letter
Yeah, that's what
was
his
going
initial
toward, the fact that
letter.
it was going to be a commercial track.
Right.
And that's
The
what we just let him know
prosecutor
right
has
off the bat,
said
there's
that we
not
can't
allowed.
stop. We can't stop it unless we stop it through noise ordinance. So that's where it stands.
But that initial letter was not an application,
No,
so there's
right.
nothing, no action
There's
could
been
possibly
no
be taken.
formal application or anything on the track. He knows my position, he knows what the prosecutor said, and that's all like I said, I spoke with him, he called me in reference to having some chickens on the property and building a shed for chickens. I said, that's fine. And I know he has, the property's in a CUAV, which that is controlled by Chardon, not by me, so. That's all I know at this point.
So basically, the only information we received is when we got a copy of the same letter you got.
Right.
And it wasn't, obviously wasn't sent to us, but a resident sent it to us. And we acted right on the information in that letter, and that's what Frank's been working on. But nothing has been done since then. So the letter right now is the only information that was available, and we basically told him, no, you can't do that.
Has the prosecutor put anything in writing about this?
Pardon?
Has the prosecutor's office had anything to say about it directly?
Yes.
And is that published anywhere, or
No,
is that
that's
just reflected in
That's
your?
between her and I.
So that would be reflected in your letter to him?
Right.
Okay.
I have some information from the prosecutor. Did any of you see the Maple Leaf article from April 17th of last year? No? Okay. So what's interesting, pretty much the same thing happened in Clarendon. The prosecutor informed the township that a dirt bike track is considered a recreational use of property, much like a swing set. That's a quote, I didn't write that. To your point, we don't know what the same prosecutor said to you, but if it's regarding commercial use as opposed to recreation, it's a big difference.
Yes.
Now, the way I understood it, money wasn't to be collected. It was more of a,
Club.
these are my buddies on the weekend. Realistically, for them to ride around, 8 AM to nighttime, I'd say is very far-fetched. Not impossible, but I own a racing dirt bike. I have one. And I'm not in horrible shape. And if I could go around my farm field once without being exhausted, is a good day. It's very hard. So the intention to have professional riders over, like some of the statements say, and to have a professional track, and just to like run all these like sanctioned races, that's not what's being constructed here. Okay, this seems to be a guy that just wants to build a track like a childhood dream and ride his dirt bike with his buddies when they want to. But I will be.
Yeah.
This article has a lot of information that's very pertinent to us. And it was from last year, and coincidentally, the same assistant prosecutor that we have is also this one in the article. So it'll give you a lot of insight into the thought process further down the road, say it does get built. It's also my understanding, in our zoning specifically, it doesn't state that he cannot build one.
Right.
Maybe it should.
So, and then the noise ordinance, I was genuinely curious about that. To my knowledge, the last time we talked about our noise resolution, rather, was 2017,
Correct.
roughly. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but does it, I went through all of our resolutions. The only thing I could find is 4A12, which pertains only to business districts.
Correct.
So in other words,
Business district,
Of joining of residential. Yeah.
against residential, yeah, that's the only.
which we don't have there.
No.
Not there, no.
But
So
that's all.
furthermore, from a noise standpoint, I don't understand where the enforceability would be, if any.
That's very difficult, right. You know, it would be- She has indicated it would be extremely difficult, and we would have to, you know, prove that it was pretty high decibels for a long period of time.
Per our resolution.
Right,
But the resolution's only applicable to
right.
business district in the
Right.
first place. So CAUV aside, just residential R1 as you stated, I don't see that our noise resolution is applicable at all.
No.
Correct?
I
Just to clarify
I
that.
think well, Mr. Kitco's letter referenced 3.02 and 3.02A5. 3.2A5 is noise,
Right.
so it does apply.
But
So-
the problem is, it's gonna be very difficult. I will say this, it's gonna be very difficult if it transpires, it's gonna be difficult. And, because, just to give you an example, a leaf blower, a lawnmower, a chainsaw, they all run at 85, 100, 110 decibels, as well as a dirt bike. So how are we gonna enforce this noise ordinance if we were to have a complete noise ordinance without doing an average? So it's the way I have to address the noise ordinance as far as it deals with the commercial versus a residential district. It has to be over an average of hours, not 10 minutes here or an hour there, you know, so we have to be, we've tried, the zoning commission over the years has tried to figure out a way, and I've asked them repeatedly to look at this and, you know, get some guidance, but it's gonna be difficult, but like I say, I can't stop anyone in this room from having a small dirt track in your yard and let kids ride. If he opens it up commercially, then we can slam the door right away. So and I know what his letter says, so, you know,
And that's all we can go by, is what he stated, of what he's going to do.
right.
And, you know, is
But
it... Go ahead.
is he gonna do it? I mean, he tried to do it in Aurora, and he didn't succeed there either, so.
That was a variance for building.
I just want to make a
It wasn't
point.
traffic.
We're talking about commercial, residential. The barn he's building, right?
The
One
barn is
bedroom,
called, and the structure he's building,
one person.
I have a
for
picture.
reference, several people have said you can't build a residence in a pole building. That's wrong. We don't have any say. That's controlled by Chardon. And yes, you can build a residence in a pole building, and that's what he's doing. It's called a barn-dominium. Whether we like it or not, it's permissible under the Ohio Revised Code and on the building standards that they can build pole structures. Now, what they have to do is, that's up to the building department, but he has a permit for a dwelling from me, and he has a permit for a dwelling from Chardon, from the building department. So, you know,
Mr. Kitko, that wasn't the point I was trying to make, honestly. The point I'm
Oh,
trying to
I'm
make is
sorry.
we're focused on commercial stuff, and, you know, it's a barnuminium, right? He's okay building that. It's a one-bedroom, as I understand it, one kitchen, one bath. That's 2 people, right? So if you take that and he starts bringing over additional people, his friends, his club, and let's say they're running 5 or 6 motorcycles, that's not, and he's not charging them, but that's not a kind of a use of what you would expect, like I would do with one son riding a 4-wheeler on my property, right? That's something different. It doesn't have to be commercial to be something that's a bigger impact on the community from a noise or aggravation standpoint. I just kind of wanted to make that point because 1 bedroom, 2 people, not 7 motorcycles.
right.
Okay, and if it's happening that way, and it's the reason we use, we've all been here, farmers have been here, everything, you move to this community, that's what you're expecting. You live in a rural community, hey, your neighbor's gonna be running the lawnmower for 6 hours one day mowing the lawn, it's just the way it is. But no one's expecting, someone to run a track with 6 souped up, unmuffled, motocross bikes. I mean, I'm about 1,700 feet away from that. I'm gonna have to build a berm about 50 feet high. So I'll come into you, and that may not even work, right?
It's in our backyard. How would you like to have?
I would not want
Our
that.
property that we've been trying to renovate for years, and all of a sudden this guy is building this thing in our backyard so that I can't sit on my deck and have a cup of coffee in the morning without hearing this nonsense.
That's the only point. Thank you.
And our property value is gonna be dropping into the toilet.
Did anybody speak with this gentleman in the room? Other than you, sorry. Has anybody else spoke with him directly?
The president of the Waterford Green Community Association did.
Called him?
Well, the association sent you folks a letter outlining stuff.
But our president, the president of our homeowner association did have a conversation.
Did they ask if he has a job?
I don't think
And the
so.
reason,
I don't know when that came up.
you said every day of the week, and I'm understanding that it's like, daylight to night. But if he works, for
Okay,
example.
All right.
Well, I'm
Let's say he
trying to
has
figure
He
out.
has a
Just
job,
weekends.
all right, let's say he has a job.
Okay.
I get off work at 5, it's summer, it's still light till 9, so from 5 to 9, he'll be out there riding his bike. Every weekend, he'll be out there riding his bikes with his buddies, every Saturday, every Sunday. Time when everybody else has a job, is trying to enjoy their property and their families, okay? That's a hardship, quality of life, detrimental, period. There's no question it impacts the entire community around it, for at least a mile and a half. All right?
I'm trying to
It's a
get
nuisance.
basic questions
It's a
understood.
complete nuisance. Whether
Because
he's
before it was a
working or not
commercial
is
track 10
irrelevant.
minutes ago.
Whether he works or not is completely irrelevant.
Now it's changed. It was a commercial track when we started this discussion. You said commercial
No
for
one
money.
said
You
that.
mentioned
Nobody
some
said
Jay
that.
did.
say commercial.
No,
No.
he did not.
Really, I'm
He has
making
a
that up?
commercial track developer.
We just talked
Putting
about
the
him
track
receiving
in.
money, slamming the door, all that stuff. So,
Sorry, what?
we just talked about, if he receives money, then you could slam the door on this commercially.
Right.
It
Because
has
in the
nothing,
very
it has nothing to
beginning-
do with commercial. It's a R1.
It's
It
recreational.
has nothing to do with that, whether anybody's paying or not. There are noise ordinances and other rules, and also legal law on this that I'm in shock the prosecutor isn't aware of, quite frankly.
Well, until an application is made, we're just all speculating here about the scope and scale of what he's gonna do there. As Frank's mentioned, there's a baseline of a kid on a mini bike and a chainsaw, but he hasn't made application for what we're doing. And Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably gonna miss a thing or two, but There's an earth disturbing permit that would be in excess of 300 square feet. I assume any track he's gonna build is gonna be in excess of 300 square feet. So that comes back to here. I know it's true in the commercial zoned areas, but is it in residential that anything not listed as permitted shall be prohibited? Okay, so that applies. So there's a few
If it
tools in
becomes
the
something-
toolbox
If it becomes
there.
something more than a personal situation, there's, but he, and I will tell you, he's indicated that he would come to the trustees and talk about what he wants to do, so, if he goes forward. I mean, he indicated that right from the very beginning, before he even sent these guys a letter, or sent the letter around to the community, that he would, and I think it even says in his letter that he would be willing to sit down with the trustees and talk about his whole project. But like I said, I have at this point in time, I know you guys keep saying but he has not indicated to me that he's gonna go forward with the track. That's all I know. And believe me, I am by that site 3 to 4 times a week. There's no, let's set this straight right now, there's no bulldozer on site, like 3 people called and yelled and said there was a bulldozer on site to build the track. There is no bulldozer. There was a skidster there, but that's not a bulldozer to build the track. That was there to drill holes for the condominium. I was there, I inspected the building, the location of the building, and I go by there about every other day to see if there's any additional activity. And the only thing different, other than the building of the building, is there is a gas well on his property, and there is a tank body on his property. And anytime you build any structure, the gas line must be marked. So there is yellow flags leading from the gas well to the tank body. There are no other flags for any kind of a track layout or anything. And there's a mound of dirt there, and if you know anything about construction, when you strip a site, you build a mound of dirt. And that's what that dirt is. It's not somebody said it's his jump, one of his jumps. It's a mound of dirt because they cleared a couple hundred feet area to build the building and put 200 or 400 tons of stone in for the subbase. And put his driveway, but that's not a jump at this point in time. It's a mound of dirt. So, but I check it 2 or 3 times a week, so I've been watching it like a hawk. We'll see what happens.
The next suggestion, it's been suggested that the meeting on 4/20, April 20th, which there's a larger group that wanted to express their opinion, I believe, maybe ask this person to come and explain what his intentions are. He made the first cut, I'm going to build this, let him explain what he's going to do, how he's going to mitigate typical risks and impact to the environment, or to the neighborhood, okay? I'm only we're theorizing only based on a letter and probably 1 or 2 conversations. Let's give the man a chance to plead his case. Is that possible?
He said he'd address the township at some point.
I can reach out to him.
I mean, you can't subpoena
If residents are
him,
coming
but-
that are going to be affected by whatever he does there, and requested his presence, and
I'll see what I can do.
In his letter, he said he was going to do his best not to impact his neighbors. Well, this is his chance to explain it. Because right now, we only know of the bad things that a motocross track will do. We know that 10 bikes running at the same time is going to be a problem. You can check anywhere, and I'm only going by his words. And, let's hear what he has to say. It could turn out to be great. I don't know. He could put up giant berms that would stop the sound and have all sorts of things that would, mitigate dust or anything else.
I can reach out to him and see what he can do.
Yeah, you've got his contact information to already talk with you.
I would do that.
Well, Frank will invite him to the meeting, and see if he complies.
And then on the second point, if the track begins construction without a permit, at what point would the township say, hey, what's going on here? You know, you're doing something without a permit. You know, we were talking about, well, we have to see if it's going to be built, and it could be just for one rider. It seems like there's an awful lot of time and things that could happen in that span of time. At what point would the township lean into it? And say, hey, wait a minute, this looks, you're
Well,
building something.
the first process would be he would receive a letter, certified letter telling him he's in violation of zoning, okay? If he doesn't respond, that goes to the prosecutor. Now, here's where everybody in the room, get ready. Because once you put it in Chardon's hands, you're at the mercy of the court and the court docket. And sometimes it can be 6 weeks, and sometimes it can be 2 years. So, you know, I've been doing this for 50 years. And I can tell you, I desperately try to always solve things without going to court if possible. Because once you go to court, then you follow the court docket. And, you know, it just, at that time it becomes, well, how good a lawyer do we have to change this, to change that? So keep that in mind, you know, but I just want everybody to know, I'm aware of what's going on, I've been there, I've checked it out. You know, like I say, I'm either 2 or 3 times a week. And there's been, basically, the only change that's taken place is the structure itself at this point.
So to your point, Frank, if he starts moving dirt without a permit, and you escalate this to the prosecutor's
Yep.
office, what happens at that
Well-
point? Is there a cease and desist to work, or is he continue working while this thing
It's
works
hard
its
to
way
do,
through the court?
sometimes we can do that, it just depends on how they address it, but the process is usually, we cite, they don't respond, we notify her through, there is a special process that we have to go through to turn something over to her, and then, or to the prosecutor, I shouldn't say just her, because you're turning it over to the prosecutor's office. And then there's a procedure that they follow. And usually it's a 7-day time to respond to the violation, and then it goes on from there. So it's not an easy process. That's why we've always tried over the years to solve it in-house, because once you get the legal team involved, it takes a long time sometimes.
And not only that, it's uncertain.
Pardon?
It's uncertain once it
Right.
goes to the court.
Right.
It kind of leaves our control a bit. You know, if we have an ability to negotiate something here, Frank tries to take advantage of it.
Right.
Once it goes to the legal process, results may vary. And they have.
And just to mention, a year ago, if you look up this article, the same thing happened, and it was already advised on by the same prosecutor. However, Geauga County Assistant Prosecutor Chrissy Ryan informed the township a dirt bike track is considered a recreational use of property.
What are the
So
facts?
there would be no zoning violation because it's considered recreational use
Well,
by
I
the
guarantee you,
prosecutor.
I'm gonna call the sheriff's office when the noise gets high.
I don't know how you
And the
can just
sheriff's
read that
gonna get
article
sick of that real fast.
and assume the facts are exactly the same on boots on the ground of what we have right now when the guy hasn't even told us what he wants to do. I mean, you're reading an article that maybe it was recreation, maybe it was a 7-family home or something like that. But I mean, we're talking about a pole barn getting built, gentleman's probably not even gonna live there, and we're gonna have 5 or 6 people, let's just assume 5 or 6 people, 2 or 3 people that don't live there riding their bike. That's not recreational.
Technically it is.
It is.
It is.
Exactly recreational.
It is,
That's the
100%
definition of
recreational.
recreation.
Yeah.
Having fun on your own property.
Having a club?
Club.
it's
Yes.
recreational.
Having friends.
Sure.
Inviting them over to your house to have fun.
No, it's not gonna go anywhere. I mean,
It's,
just happened.
you
But
know,
you have ordinances,
everybody in
so
this
being a
room,
good neighbor.
everyone in this room had the opportunity to buy that land. But nobody did. This guy buys it, and then all of a sudden it's a big deal that he wants to do something with his own land. I got no vested interest in this. I live far enough away.
But you're talking,
But I know, because someday it could affect me and my rights and what I want to do with my land. Be careful what you wish for. You start taking this guy's rights away, they're coming after your rights next.
I don't think anyone's got a problem with someone making good use of the property. It's just, it's gotta be reasonable.
That's unreasonable.
Well,
The
not
guy's-
affecting
the guy's
people's
using his own
property
property.
values and their peace of mind and their properties. I mean, at some point, the
It can
greater,
also
the
increase
greater,
the property rights because
the
people wanna
greater
come and have
community,
their bikes.
the greater community has a say in it.
You think he's gonna have this, I used to ride dirt bikes a lot. And we're not out there
You
8
wanna
hours
buy
a
our
day.
house?
It's
'Cause we live right
tiring.
behind it.
I live close to a place that rides
Just so you
dirt
know, you
bikes.
can sue them, so just so you know, so Riley's trying to defend the prosecutor here because when they set a precedent, I'm from Newbury Township, I'm a trustee, we have problems like this all the time, and so we had someone actually moving trees and doing all this for 2 years straight before the prosecutor did anything, and they're still working on it. So that's one of the reasons I became trustee, but you have the right to sue them, you have class action, you guys aren't happy with it. It is a residential, again, sorry, I'm just kind of speculating, because it sounds like speculation at this point. It's basically residential at this point. And I'm also confused how he's residential, but it's ag, you have to be ag to get a CAUV credit. So is it ag or is it residential? Like, I'm confused.
The
which-
zoning is
We-
residential.
So then how does he have a CAUV? It has to be
The
ag.
zoning, we don't have an
We don't have
agricultural
any
zone.
Okay,
We only have residential, commercial, and industrial zones.
okay.
We don't have agriculture.
So how does he have a CAUV?
Agriculture is allowed in the
Yeah, it is,
entire
yeah.
township.
It's just a tax program, but we lean on that designation where it makes it more concrete that you are farming if that designation is provided from the county.
Mhm.
You could farm without being CAUV, you know, that nobody can stop you. You don't have to go apply for tax discounts through the CAUV, but in our world, it seems to help when someone says, I'm CAUV, oh, you must be a farmer.
Mhm.
But it doesn't have to work that way.
Okay.
It's just a county tax program. But,
But people have looked at Newbury being a track too. That's why I wanted to hear what you guys are kind of going through, to be honest, because if I lived next to them, I wouldn't want to. But it infringes on their rights to do what they want with their property because it's residential. So there's just very fine lines with what a prosecutor will actually prosecute in Rockland County, to be completely fair. So they don't really prosecute many people in Newbury, and there's a big issue with the trustees because we don't take care of nuisance properties, because the prosecutor won't prosecute people. So it's complicated, to be honest, but.
Well, so the free use of your property is fine, and I believe in that. But I also believe that the adjacent residents should have the free use of their land too. So you should be able to not have to take one person's rights affecting the property rights of 300 people. It affects you, so, and it is a gray area, and we try to, protect as many people as we can. We try to get the people to work together, but this is always an issue. There's always someone who wants to do something and it's affecting other people. So who's right? Again, Riley kind of, let's say he leans toward the free use of land. I lean more toward, okay, how many people are being affected by the free use? So but again, until things happen, we have no idea. So right now, it's all speculation. Is there anything we can do right now? No.
No.
Because nobody's done anything yet. It's like you're driving in circles and you're thinking about illegally parking, but you haven't done it yet, so they can't give you a parking ticket until you actually illegally park or something happens. So, I mean, you're dead in the water, Frank. Right now.
No matter what.
You know, 'cause everybody looks at Frank, what are we gonna do? It's like, well, there's nothing he can do, nothing
Nothing
we
I
can
can
do
do
right
until
now.
he does
We are,
something right.
but as you said, we are aware of the situation. And we will do what we can for all parties involved, but right now, I'd like to give you a concrete answer of exactly what's gonna happen. We don't know, he may just bail out because he's already bought another parcel of land and he may go out and, well, it's a middle field, they don't have zoning there, you can do what you want.
So the call to action was, what you said was, is a commercial tract allowed in an R1? And the answer is
Okay, we
no.
answered that, answer is no.
And the answer is no.
No, it's not commercial tract. There's nothing in there, it's for residential, you have to have, if I understand, it might be helpful if I read what I was going to read, and, because I get in a little more detail than what Mr. Ron is trying to do.
And your name, sir?
Mark Holland, I'm on the agenda.
Okay, tell you what. How have you gone far enough, because you're both on the agenda for the same thing?
Yep.
So if you want to hop in here, you guys can kind of like intermingle, because I don't want to go 3 hours with this, and then, okay, now you can go over the same thing for 3 hours. You have the floor,
Some of
sir.
it is, but it's a little different perspective, I think. Probably better if I stand over here, so I the light that I can read. That's all right. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. And Mark Polans, I'm here today as a resident of Auburn Township to voice my concerns and objections to the construction of the motocross trail we already talked about. It's owned by NKE Enterprises, a limited liability corporation business owned by registered agent Kimberly Eprick. Mrs. Eprick's son Nathan Eprick has declared in writing and verbally his intention to have a professionally constructed motocross trail installed on the property to be routinely used as a motocross club, including holding a larger annual motocross event. There has already been a large amount of dirt placed on the property, and I don't believe it was just pushing stuff around. That was there right after he bought it, which does not appear to be related to the planned construction of a barn-dominium dwelling on the property. The placement of the dirt predates the zoning permit for the barn-dominium dwelling. I believe the placement of this dirt and Mr. Eprick's declaration to build a motocross track is sufficient evidence to require Mr. Eprick to apply for a zoning permit to build the motocross track before the construction proceeds any further. A November 13th letter from Frank Kitco. Mr. Eprick advised him that his planned track requires the construction of a full-time residence, and based on history and Frank Kitco's experience as a zoning inspector, he informed Mr. Eprick that the noise from a single dirt bike has violated Auburn Township zoning resolution 3.02 maintenance standards, which says no land shall be used which is unhealthy, hazardous, noxious, or otherwise injurious to public health, safety, comfort, or general welfare. Mr. Kitco's letter goes on to state that zoning resolution 3.02A5 states that no use shall emit noise which is objectionable due to volume, frequency, or beat beyond its lot lines. And I am a bit of a noise expert in my career, so I can attest to that sort of thing and how noise behaves. Mr. Kitco cautioned Mr. Eprick of a strong possibility that his plans will violate these resolutions. Mr. Kitco also states that the barn-dominium dwelling requires full-time occupancy in order for accessory uses to be permitted. Based on the currently available evidence, I respectfully ask the Auburn Township trustees either require Mr. Eprick to apply for a construction zoning permit for his planned motocross track to allow the normal zoning process to proceed now, or that the trustees contact the Geauga County prosecutor for a determination of a regulatory means to halt the planning and apparent construction of a motocross track on the R1 parcel absent an approved zoning permit. And the question's gonna have to be to him is, are you doing this or not? If he's doing it, okay, let's go get the process started. If it takes 3 years to fight and come to a resolution, then you sort it out. I believe the currently available evidence is sufficient to take action now and should not require waiting for Mr. Eprick to construct his barn-dominium dwelling or him directly violating noise and maintenance resolutions along with his failure thus far to apply for a construction permit for a motocross track. The available evidence includes Mr. Epprich's intent to build a professionally constructed motocross track, planning to operate 5 to 10 motocross motorcycles on a typical day, an unrealistic declaration that he will ensure it complies fully with Auburn Township's noise ordinances, and I don't believe it requires an average. It's a listed value. I don't think there's anything that says it has to be an average. Claim that
Okay,
the track,
just be careful, because when you start your leaf blower blowing the leaves and I cite you for a zoning violation,
I
that's,
understand how it works.
you know, that's the problem. You know,
But you don't have all these people here for leaf blowers and
right,
trust
but
me.
you can't disseminate a motocross bike and a leaf blower. If they're both making the same amount of noise, they're both in violation.
Well,
So, you know, I mean, that's,
there's a lot of difference between one motocross bike.
oh, I agree
Noise is
there, yeah,
additive,
but I'm
okay?
just saying, you
Each
know.
bike adds 3 decibels, so you're starting out at anywhere from 90 to 110 decibels, and that's super loud, and then you're going up 3 decibels more for every bike on the track.
Right.
What if he uses electric bikes?
That'd be great. That'd be a nice solution, but I'm guessing that's not gonna happen. 2-cycle engines are notoriously noisy. And
It's a thing
so
that's
anyways,
done.
he's claiming that the track will be 100% for personal use only. He has planned an annual larger motocross event. He's planning to install sprinklers, which if you're using it for personal use, that seems a little extreme. Keep dust down, which seems, that would be highly realistic. I'm also a pollution expert in a lot of ways in my career. The current movement of dirt and the presence of earth-moving equipment, and it's debatable what's earth-moving equipment, obviously, but that predates and appears unrelated to the construction of the barn dominium. In other words, that huge pile out there was put there a long time ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't there for building something. It wasn't pulled from the site, it was brought in, as far as I know.
No, if you would have gone there last fall, there is a area probably, besides the driveway being put in, there's probably an area 200 by 50 where all the topsoil is scraped off and stone and dirt was put there.
Fair enough.
And that's where that pile came from, because I saw it
Okay.
being done.
Okay.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
accept that.
But yes, they did do that prior to getting the zoning permit, but that's okay, because he applied for his driveway culvert permit, he got that from the county. That's the first process you do, is put your driveway in, so you can get access to your property. And he subsequently got his zoning permit to build the barn dominium, and then he got his building permit. So, I mean, they're posted, the permits are there, you know, so.
I also think it would be of value to find out if he has the authority to act on behalf of NKE Enterprises, because it's his mother is the only listed agent for that limited liability corporation. So, I mean, he may very well have it. I just can't find any evidence that he's involved with the corporation. He may be, I don't know. You're referring to another event, so I'll refer to the Aurora one. It's very relevant to note that on June 11th, 2025, Mr. Epprich sought a zoning variance for a 75-acre parcel in the city of Aurora to build a 3,840 square foot barn to house his motorcycles and other equipment. According to the official meeting minutes, not an article, when asked why he's building a home first, why he's not building a home first, Mr. Epprich stated that he may build a home in the next 10 to 20 years. He also stated that the barn would be used for gatherings, and that 10 to 40 people would be on the property at one time. Adjoining neighbors to the property voiced their objections to his motorcycle usage plans, and the zoning board unanimously rejected his appeal to build a barn. From a zoning perspective, the issue is not whether motocross or motorsports are inherently bad. The issue is location and compatibility. The motorsports track belongs, if anywhere, in a properly zoned district with appropriate buffers, access, and conditions, not in an R1 zone neighborhood surrounded by family homes. There is evidence that a motocross track in or near a residential community has negatively affected property values, and the Auburn Township zoning R1 resolutions exist to protect residents' enjoyment of their property. The time to protect the neighborhood is before the track is allowed to start, not after it's up and running and the damage is done. I respectfully request the trustees act on my request to either require Mr. Epprick to apply for a zoning permit, figure out what he's doing, let him state it. If he's gonna do it, fine, do it, but apply for the permit. Or alternatively, contact Geauga County Prosecutor for determination in the very near future. In full disclosure, I'm an alternate member of the Auburn Township Board of Zoning Appeals, and as such, I will recuse myself from any vote coming before the board regarding this matter. The concept of the prosecutor, based on thus far my limited understanding of some of the law, but I've been involved with a lot of legal things in my career, her statement seems unsupportable based on what I've written, based on what I read in the law and some of the stuff that was put in, that I was required to read becoming onto the Board of Zoning Appeals. Just in sound that this should be legal in any fashion. Again, because it's not authorized to start with in R1. I'm happy to try to answer any questions if anybody has any of me.
Just have a general question on enforcement. Okay, so he starts riding 5, 6 bikes across his land with or without a track, and it becomes a noise and a dust nuisance for the residents. At what point do residents get some level of enforcement across about noise? I guess.
Well,
You know,
I would tell you exactly what would
Are we supposed to keep calling
happen
the
in that.
sheriff, or are we gonna call your personal cell phone numbers, or are we gonna call the zoning office?
Well, maybe it's gonna call the sheriff.
So we're gonna become a nuisance to the sheriff every time he comes out there with his club?
When they come the second time, they're gonna tell you to stop calling. And the reason I know that is because it happened to me. But I wasn't doing anything wrong. It's very similar to this. It was just people that were upset that they live in a township, and it's not a city, it's not an HOA here. He has 28 acres, CAUV. I mean, I'll tell you a true story. I literally ran my combine at 3 a.m. last fall, all night long. Okay, we had semi-trucks in my field. I'm next to Ascot Lane. Ascot's 600 feet from where I was farming. Not a single call. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Okay, so where do you draw these lines of distinction if you wanted to shoot guns all day? Okay, that's way louder. What if you want, right on the property line, what if you wanted to set up a 200-yard range? He has how many acres? 26, 28?
27, I believe.
27 acres. So he wants to shoot guns all day, or shoot them all night. That's permissible.
No, it's not permissible. You have a noise ordinance that can be enforced. If you have something that says 55 or 60 decibels, there's no time, it's not time weighted.
Can we enforce shooting now? I've never heard of that. Same, worse noise, louder noise.
I would hope he's not.
Point being, there's a lot of things that you have some freedoms in a township, which is why, like myself, I'll never go back to a city. I won't. I came from Twinsburg, not going back. I don't like all the governance and rules and overreach and liberties being pulled at. I don't like that. That's why I'm here. And to your point, though, I agree with Mr. Troyan. Nothing's happened preemptively. I can't see anything that can happen. And then regarding noise, I mean, it's right here. The only ordinance that talks about noise and the average is 4A12.
No,
Not the
it's
3.
not.
The 3 section talks about comfort and things like that. This
No,
has numbers.
it's-
Read
You
it
need to
again.
read the rest of it.
You just read it.
No,
Does it
that's
have
that's a summary from him.
But there's
It
no
doesn't-
numbers.
Yes, there are.
Oh, okay, you just don't have them.
Didn't look those up. I was just hard.
Okay.
I'll have them on the 20th. How's that?
I'll look them up tonight. No, I'll look them up myself. This is all I can find, that's why I
The
asked.
numbers we had, as far as, from what I remember, was between the residential to business. Those noise ordinance numbers, residential to residential.
I went through all the resolutions.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying it's part of the
I will
resolution, you're on the board.
revisit it. I'll have to
So,
revisit it.
you can double check that, but I know, because I was sitting here when we went through that, and we were trying to make, or come up with, noise resolution in residential. And like I said, if you've got you're coming through on your lawnmower right next to somebody's property line,
The lawnmower doesn't produce noise like a dirt bike person.
I'm talking about, let me be completely on that, okay? Yeah, dirt bikes are gonna make a lot of noise, crap load of noise.
Yep.
But, again, if he just takes a dirt bike and drives around his property 24/7, he can do that. There's nothing we can do about that.
No, I think,
Okay,
assuming I'm correct on
the
the noise
only
limit, you
issue
can't.
is the commercial aspect of it. That's the only thing that we can act on.
I don't think it requires a commercial thing to have an action. I'll back it.
Oh, okay.
Keep looking at it, but I'm just
I
saying.
think the board here has said that we're willing to have some type of, for lack of a better word, public forum on this.
That's great.
Quite possibly at Adam Hall at the next meeting. We can invite property owner to come. We cannot require the property owner to come. We cannot require that property owner to make an application for a permit for anything.
No, you can't require it.
We
You
can't
can request
require it.
that he does.
All we can do is request.
So, as I said earlier, we're all speculating on this.
Yeah.
We'll give more people a chance to speak on this at the next meeting at a bigger venue. And,
Sounds fair.
as I said, I can't, we'll issue a invitation, I guess,
Well,
to this fella to come and explain his situation. He can come. He can certainly not come if that's his desire, so.
And maybe he's not planning to do it there
I
anymore.
don't know.
Maybe he's gonna do it somewhere else. Just
I do not know. So-
Get rid of this room of people real quick.
well, yeah, currently, as chairman, see, chairman doesn't have really any more, there's three of us, I'm the guy with the gavel. Would you try, as chairman, I try to keep like a flow of things going. Now, at this point in time, I'm gonna close your discussions on this. We'll continue this up at Adam Hall, and then we can talk about it once again and recant the thing, but we do have a whole list of things that we have to go through, and
I'm good
you know,
with that.
so-
Appreciate your time.
So I appreciate you guys coming out. Like I said, we will move the meeting to Adam Hall. Just make sure we have enough room for anybody else that wants to come in. But I think we're gonna kind of go ahead and try to get through the remainder of the meeting, so
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
thank y'all. Okay, minute approval, regular meeting of 3/16. Comments, criticisms, motions.
I have a number of corrections, I'm sorry to say. We're starting with back to forward, and this is something, Lorraine, that we've been working on. There's a few things here. Mark Sturm was appointed to the position of interim as second cemetery sexton, and I remember him specifically asking that title interim.
And that's not in there?
Not on the draft that I have.
I thought it was, but maybe it isn't.
We reference, a lot of it's in the KKR section. We reference the attorney that was part of the settlement for the KKR group as David Andre, who's a sitting judge. We've got to get that spelling right.
So David Andre's name is misspelled?
Yeah.
Okay.
We also talk about the KKR ownership, and we kind of implied that Mr. Kim Coonley, the elder, is still alive, because we say as he and his nephew own it. He's passed away.
And so is ours.
Huh?
And so is ours. Robert, so is
Yeah.
Robert.
Okay, so, well, we pretty clearly say that he still owns the property, and he can't because he's deceased. There's some spellings there. It's me, it goes by Pardick Kavanaugh, which that's my evil twin, but that wasn't me. There's several things in there.
you can.
I will, if you got a minute this week at some
Sure,
point.
right here. Yeah, I can do that.
And Riley and Mike, if you find something else in there too, I'd say now's the time to fix it. You can't, I'm not approving minutes with the judge's name misspelled, and it kind of starts there. As I said, Mr. Cooney's nephew is now the owner of that property. He's dead.
I think it's in a, I don't wanna say a trust, I think it's in a, it might be in an LLC or something.
Without getting that specific, I don't want to imply in minutes that we're going to prove that Kim Cooney Senior is still alive,
Right,
because that's kind of not right.
He's not, and neither is Robert, so.
So, we'll fix those. I really.
I'd like to point out that Lorraine sent these minutes out for your review back on Saturday, March 28th, which gave you ample time, and all of us ample time to review what we, you know.
Well, nobody else caught that either, so.
Well, what I'm saying is, you had a week prior to this meeting, which would have been nice, so she could have made the corrections prior to the meeting.
Okay,
That's the whole
I'm not going
purpose
to be
of
the one that
sending-
apologizes for catching
That's
up.
the whole, no, I'm not really saying that, but the whole purpose of sending a draft out a week ahead of time is to give everybody an ample opportunity to review it, that's all. Instead of waiting until the day of the meeting when you got to approve.
Okay, that's a good thought.
I don't have a correction, I just would like to make a clarification. On page 4, and it's something I stated during the meeting on the 16th, and I believe it was pointed out to me by one of the reporters, that I questioned about the legality of the fund for the land acquisition and improvement fund. And I just wanted to clarify, there's nothing illegal about the fund. And I did some research, and I went back to, believe it or not, 1998. I still don't know how I found it. There was a motion by Don Maskinis to appropriate $40,000 from the general fund for either the purchase of land or the funding of land improvements. The motion was seconded by Eugene McEwen. Vote Kavanaugh no, McEwen yes, Maskinis yes. The motion passed. And then a motion again made by Donald J. Maskinis to set up a separate fund for this appropriation for either the purchase of land or the funding of land improvements. Motion was seconded by G. McEwen. Vote Kavanaugh no, McEwen yes, Maskinis yes. The motion passed. And then the following meeting, August 31st, Jack Trethewey questioned where the money was coming from when the township didn't have the money. But the township, it was stated that the trustees explained that the township does have $40,000 in the general fund put aside for the land acquisition or improvements. The $40,000 was arrived at by adding the inheritance tax received to the workers' compensation refund. And then I found on October 1st of '98, another motion was made by Don Maskinis to transfer $50,000. And this time it's more specific from the general fund account 1,930,930 to 490176710, which is the capital fund account that we currently have set up for land acquisition and improvement. Then again, on December 17th, another $15,000 was transferred. My point in all this is just to say that normally we have resolutions that establish capital project funds. Back in 1998, apparently we didn't, so I even asked the county to research it and find out, did they have any record of a resolution? I went up in our attic, I couldn't find anything in the boxes labeled 1998. So my only point in all this is we may have to look at establishing another resolution just to make it, to clarify what that money should or shouldn't be used for, that's all. So, but there's nothing illegal about it. the money's there, it's,
Designated for a specific purpose,
yeah, so.
except that purpose was just historically not done in a resolution form. Is that pretty much it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, in a nutshell.
Thank you.
All right, so we will let the minute approval go by the wayside, get whatever corrections you guys need in there, we can hold them off and then approve the minutes at the next meeting. All right, scheduled reports. Mr. Kitco, you haven't talked enough tonight.
Okay, should all have a copy of activity for the month of March. We had we processed 11 applications. The biggest one here again is the 5 for accessory buildings over 200 square feet. We did have one new home, which brings new houses for the year to 3. And then we have one denial, which will probably sooner or later go to a variance request or conditional use, one commercial remodel, and so forth. That's about it. That's all I have.
Oh, no, Frank, you're not getting off that easy. It was a nice try, though. I appreciate it. Okay, at the last meeting, I brought up the costs for the second dwelling issues that we have. And again, I just gave that as a preliminary to the other trustees, say, okay, costing, this is what we're looking at. And what we wanted is, I believe Mr. Riley had some, needed some clarification questions on what we were trying to get out of if we go to get legal counsel.
Oh, all right.
So specifically what I'm looking at is, and I pretty much know, but I wanted to come out of your mouth exactly what we are attempting to accomplish.
Okay, well, what has traditionally happened over the years is when we find a second dwelling on one parcel of land, which is against zoning, and we correct it, there's no way, we've always had, or approached it this way, that I would make a follow-up inspection at some point to verify that, one, the people are no longer in there, and they've made some modifications like removing a shower, you're allowed a commode, a sink, that type of stuff in an accessory building, and not, and we've always approached that, and we've always done that inspection. We've had the last 2 cases, one in particular, they refused to let me on the property completely and entirely. So I don't know, number one, if the people are not still living there in the second dwelling, because I can't go there and verify it. The other one, they reluctantly let me come on the property. So, that one was corrected. But if the prosecutor has said that I don't have that right, she feels that I don't have that right to go and make these follow-up inspections. And so therefore, how can I say that the violation has been corrected? And she suggested if we didn't agree with her, that we have the right to seek outside legal counsel.
No.
So that's what I'm asking you for, because I disagree with her on that
Right.
statement.
But now, from what I read on what she had to say on the topic, her main disagreement with our zoning was on the definition of a dwelling. Okay? And I believe she felt that a dwelling is no longer a dwelling if nobody's living there.
Right. That's what she said, yes.
Right. So by her definition, it's like, well, they said the people moved out. If they moved out, there's nobody living there, therefore it's not a dwelling. We can't go in and make them take out all the things because, so what we have there is just a disagreement between what we define a dwelling as and what the prosecutor defines dwelling as. So by her definition, if we're looking at, agree with her, you say, okay, let's just say it's not a dwelling for sake of argument, and as far as we know, they don't have renters in there anymore. So if that's the case, then we really wouldn't have any action,
Right.
because we're following her. Now, if we don't agree with that, and we want to have them actually take the, to our standard for what we call a dwelling and tear it down. But now, how much are, and again, which is why I gave everybody a cost, in order to do that, since the prosecutor already said they would not do that, we have to hire an attorney. So, again, we know what the hourly rate would be, the cost would be, and that's a decision we have to make, is do we want to proceed with our definition of dwelling and have that second, I can't call it a dwelling,
Call it a structure.
second building that could be dwelled in but not. So that's where the costing came from, that's the issue. Now, if they would, you know, if they just came up to us and said, okay, yeah, we brought it down to a point where it doesn't fit the definition of dwelling for the township, then it would all go away. If they don't want to do that, then we have to decide whether we want to, again, enforce our zoning through hiring private counsel. So any discussion that you guys want to have on that, feel free, chime in, 2 cents.
Well, I think we had a pretty long discussion tonight already about enforcement of zoning. So.
This is a huge thing now.
It is. We agree.
I'll summarize it a little different. So, we're going to potentially vote to go around our prosecutor who does not, which we trust for everything. Free counsel, they do a great job, and we disagree with the county, so we want to pay $400 an hour to a third-party law firm. They don't know, how many hours do they put in to really understand the case? They're happy to take the case, of course, but to get to the point where if this family just doesn't respond, right, because that's their right, they don't have to respond, what is the goal? Is it to take them to county court where the county said they're already not interested in helping? Help me understand that, where the end goal is of this.
The end goal is to make sure that there isn't a second dwelling on that parcel of land.
What's the exact definition that we have of second dwelling?
Well, one, I can't even verify that the residents are gone.
What's the
Because
resolution for a second dwelling?
What do you mean, we only allow one dwelling per parcel.
What makes something a dwelling as opposed to?
If it has a kitchen, a kitchen, a bathroom, a shower, all that stuff, that's a dwelling.
Per our resolution?
Well, it's the way it's always been, yes.
I can't put an oven and a shower in my pole barn?
If the health department lets you hook it up, I guess you can.
And the health department was already on this property and said it was okay?
Well, I can't verify that either. I just know that
Well, the second building was.
they hooked a pool house, the one in particular, they hooked a pool house, the previous owner hooked a pool house to the septic system with the understanding that it was strictly a pool house for swimming pool. Ultimately, those people sold to new residents, and that's when people started living in there, and we got complaints. I investigated, and they came to the Board of Appeals, the Board of Appeals denied it, and it was, at the meeting, they stated that they would let me, at some point in the future, verify that it wasn't a dwelling, and then subsequently, I got a call saying that they wouldn't let me on the property, that I have to deal with their attorney. my attorney would have to deal with their attorney. That's where it stands. So I don't care one way or the other, I just want it resolved one way or the other, because we are gonna continue to have these situations where people take accessory buildings and turn them into dwellings, and we have no way of controlling them if they don't let us come on the property and investigate. You can't take someone's word when they already violated the zoning to begin with. So, how do you go about it? I don't know, tell me. But we've always, in the past, we've always done it this way, and we've never had a problem. And the previous prosecutor, assistant prosecutor backed us up. This one doesn't, but the previous one said, you have that right, go and do it, so.
Like a warrant?
No, I just wanna, at some point, set up an appointment, to walk on the property, look and see, and be done with it.
But they stated they don't want you on the property.
Well, that was
So
what
we
was
need,
conveyed to me. I had to deal with my attorney, their attorney wanted to deal with my attorney.
so the goal is to try to get a warrant through the court system to force you onto the property. And we're gonna pay, well, if they spend 25 hours, we're gonna spend $10,000 trying to get a
Put
warrant.
a cap on it. So much money. I don't, either that or I just don't worry about it. What do you want me to do? These guys are telling me they want the code enforced, and now you're saying you don't want me to enforce the code? One dwelling per parcel of land, simple as that. There's, at least, over the years, there's been 20, and this is the first time I was not allowed to go on the property. So, this particular case. The other one, we resolved it. We sat down like adults, talked about it, and they said, come on property, and they did it, no problem. Now, could they revert back 2 years from now? Probably, I don't know.
2 days from now.
But, it's, how do you want to get around it? Your code says one dwelling per parcel. You don't like that, change it, but that's what the code says. And I'm charged with enforcing that code. And I'm asking for a way to enforce it, that's all I'm asking. And if you guys choose not to, then fine. But that's what's written in our resolution, plain and simple.
Where's the oven and the kitchen and shower thing come from, like specifically?
Well, that's.
I'm not trying to make a dumb question, I just want.
It's not specifically stated, but that's generally, if you don't have those things, you don't have a dwelling. Right? It's common sense. If you don't have a shower and you don't have an oven and all that other stuff, then you probably don't have a dwelling. Maybe somebody could still live in it, sleep in it, I guess, but.
You can sleep in a tent.
But
Within the last month, there was a family that was fatally killed in a barn fire in Ashtabula. I don't want that happening in this community. The fire department was called for a barn fire. They got there, the flames were coming through the roof and through the windows. There was an apartment attached to that barn that the fire department did not know that it was a second dwelling on that property. A woman, her 2 children were both found dead. 2 other adults and a child made it out. If the fire department does not know that there's a second dwelling on that property, they had no desire to look for anybody when they arrived at that scene, according to the fire chief that was interviewed. And I don't want that happening in Auburn. If we're not supposed to have a second dwelling, enforce the code.
Second dwellings also apply, have been coming with, what starts out as a, let's say an agricultural building, and it gets expanded into being able to be a residence. One thing is, if it's agricultural, it isn't subject to inspection, correct, Chief?
that's correct.
In certain cases.
Yeah, and then, again, if there's somebody living out there and they're kind of doing it under the thing, you're right, you have no notice that that's So you're in the same situation. So I mean, there's basically safety and health issues involved with this, which is why it's part of the code, but, again, this is a, you know, if they would just, I mean, so, according to they do not have the residents in there. Is that the information you have received?
Yes.
And that was through their attorney, or,
No, through the husband.
okay?
And the comment was made, anything else would have to be between the two attorneys.
Okay, so, but again, we have no way of confirming that, because they won't let you on the property.
Which sounds like they're right, based on our prosecutor and what they've advised. So we want to go against a review already by a trusted attorney that we use actively almost daily and pay a for-profit attorney $400 an hour to, I still don't know what the end goal is, I guess get you a warrant. Because they would have to get all the way to that point where the very same court system that's already looked into this is going to have to look into it again and then get you a warrant. I just feel like it's far-fetched, and we'll get to 10, 20 grand like now, and me personally, well, because I'm trying to fix up a lot of stuff around here, a lot of other uses for that money. Or I'd rather give it as a scholarship to somebody at Kenston, as opposed to try to attack one family that does not want you on their property. And I don't blame them. I mean, I really don't.
I don't understand why I don't blame it. They knew when they bought the place, the building was built without permits.
What if they wouldn't have went to the BZA?
They did go to the BZA.
What if they didn't?
What if they didn't, then the prosecutor would be citing them.
For a second dwelling?
Yeah.
But now that they've stated that people aren't there, or they've evicted them or whatever, they don't see it as a problem anymore, but we do.
We have no way to verify it. You know, at this point, do whatever you want.
It's a lot of money. And it's a
Well, like
big
I said,
precedent.
put a cap on it, $5,000, $4,000, put a cap on it, and he exceeds that cap, fine.
That's 12 hours.
But, you know, I mean, I don't know.
I wish I had a good answer for you, Frank. The only thing that concerns me is if our prosecutor has already washed her hands of this and stating that by her definition, and again, it's not a dwelling.
I will take that to the zoning commission. We will fix that.
But the key thing on that is, and I agree, if we end up in court, who are they gonna listen to?
Right.
They're not gonna listen to our $400 attorney. They're gonna listen to their prosecutor and their prosecutor's definition. What I wanna do is, I mean, I believe we should enforce our code. What I don't wanna do is spend a lot of money trying to enforce it if we can't win.
Right.
Okay? Now, PJ, jump in on this one.
Well, my thoughts from the get-go was, we've heard all night here, is we're not only looking, at least the group of residents in place tonight are not only looking for enforcement, they're looking for preventative enforcement. You know, require application, rule on the viability or legality of a project that no one's even made a actual proposal on.
Right.
This is the opposite. It's been clear from, I think since we initiated zoning in the 50s, that there's one dwelling per parcel. That's not what happened here.
No.
And I certainly think you gotta put a cap on it. Mike, you're probably right, we're starting from behind the 8 ball on this. But how willing are we to
We have
Enforce our
to
zoning.
enforce our zoning.
Yeah.
I think, let's say, cap of maybe $2,000, enough to go in there and just to get them, because he wants our attorney, their attorney to talk through our attorney. So we have to have one. Prosecutor's already bailed out of it. So it may just be enough for him to send a letter to their attorney just to come in and get Frank, allow Frank to come in, take a look at it, confirm that there's nobody living there, and,
Well, no, you want to get stuff removed from the house, you said.
I wanna see what it is, yes.
Well, there's two issues.
there,
That's what's complicated. He wants to make renovations to the home after confirming no one's living there, correct? You want to force renovations. That's where this, possibly.
Well, possibly, because right now
Let's see what's there.
we're in a gray area on that, because it depends who you want to believe. If you believe the prosecutor, who you already said you do.
I'm just reading. I can read. I've never spoke with the prosecutor.
No, I'm just saying,
I'm just
if we
reading.
use on the definition of dwelling, if we use her definition of dwelling, then all Frank has to do is confirm no one's living there. Because by her definition of dwelling is, if no one's living there, it's not a dwelling. Therefore, the issue's over. It's by our definition in our resolution of what a dwelling is that Frank is trying to, would like to have them do, but right now, I think, meet them halfway. Just confirm to us that no one's living there.
Right.
And they said, because of the statement of the prosecutor, I don't want to battle with the
No.
prosecutors. They came in with a definition. You can't battle the prosecutor's office.
Seems like a weird use of money when we have a lot of other things to spend it on. How long has this been like this? Like, when was it built?
When was it built?
Yes.
Years ago.
And it's been fine all the way until now?
No.
Started as pool house.
No.
How do you guys know did you know people that lived there and worked on it?
Yeah.
And it was fine then?
No, you know, when it's a pool house, it's one thing. When it's a dwelling, it's different. A pool house is allowed. A dwelling is not. A second dwelling is not. That's the difference.
So-
It was a pool house under the previous owner. The new owners bought it, and there might have been renovation before by the previous owner, but the second owner, or the current owner, made it into a dwelling. It might have been a dwelling before and we didn't catch it, but we caught it. At this point, we brought him to the Board of Appeals, okay? That's where we are, and the Board of Appeals denied the second dwelling.
Yeah, 'cause I read the BZA, I didn't see the oven and shower thing.
Well, no, it's not in there. I told you that.
So this is another issue, getting the oven and shower out, or we don't care about the oven and shower?
Why we care about it, but I would at least like to verify with my own two eyes that nobody's living there. Because I don't trust the people, because they lied to me. They lied to my office, they lied to the Board of Appeals. All of that. We caught them in the lie, so,
What did they lie about?
they told us they needed that revenue, or they wouldn't have been able to buy the property. And she denied she said that when she said it to Jane, when she applied for the application to go to the Board of Appeals, and then she said she never said that. No, it's not gonna be in the minutes, it's not gonna be in the writing, but that was stated. But, all I wanna do
It's
is
here.
make sure it's not a second dwelling.
It is here,
Okay.
about the money, I'm reading it.
So,
They gave invoices from learning
and,
centers.
I mean, it's just a situation. They knew the building was built without permits, period. The previous owner told them that.
Even the pool house,
Yes.
that you knew about.
Well, I didn't know about it until I found out, and that's what, see,
No, I thought you understood that it was a pool house, and you just said
Well-
it didn't have permits. So you knew,
didn't have permits for a dwelling.
but the pool house was permissible even though there were no permits.
A pool house is permissible.
Without permits.
If it's part of the pool and yeah, it goes with the pool. Okay?
No permits for the building.
No, as long as it's associated with the swimming pool. Yeah.
Really?
It's done at the same time, we just lump it all together, okay? But when you turn a pool house into a dwelling, now we have a problem. And that's what happened. I'm not saying they did it. I'm just saying they bought it knowing that the structure was built without dwelling, necessary permits for a dwelling, okay? They knew it, the previous owner told them that, okay? They stated, that was stated, that they knew that, okay? They came to the Board of Appeals, the Board of Appeals denied, you know? And they won't, and then I get a subsequent call saying that the tenant has left. And I said, I would like to verify that. They said, you have to do it, you have to deal with our attorneys now, so. Your attorney will have to deal with my attorney, so.
Okay.
All right.
All right, at this point in time, as I have that on old business, let's table any decision on where we're gonna go from this, have people have a chance to absorb it, and decide what we're gonna do. Right now, I would recommend that, no action at this time.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So if you put a cap on it and you say it's $2,000, so you each that $2,000 up and there's no resolve, where do we go from there? So we just threw $2,000 away?
It's 5 hours, that's barely gonna get them a letter.
That's what I'm saying, I mean, by the time you get up to date on what the case is and does all the revised codes and this and that.
Well, you're right, there's no guarantee that
And that's what I'm
we're gonna have any
saying. We're just gonna
resolution
throw
with
that money away.
$2,000. It's one of those things, but,
Yeah.
we're throwing it out there and hoping for the best.
I
Trying
got
to get something out of it, but we can't spend the entire township budget trying to fight this one issue either. Yes, sir.
I got a quick question. So this has been sent to the county, this issue, prosecutor's office, and it's been ruled on by them.
Well, what we wanted them is well, yes, they have ruled, basically, they disagree with our definition of dwelling. So they said since they disagree with our definition of dwelling, we would have to get our own legal counsel to proceed, because they weren't gonna deal with it because of how they define.
Then it's a done
Well-
deal, file it and put the wording in there from the prosecutor, be done with it. They ruled on it, it's over, it's a wrap.
I'd rather fix all the broken fence rails at Adam Hall, to be honest, so it goes with our nice roof, but
This is ridiculous.
that's just me. I got a laundry list I'm gonna talk about tonight of broken stuff and things that can use money. It seems like, in all due respect, it seems like we got guidance and we're just going after a young family because they don't want you on their property, and quite frankly, that's their right. And then it gets into all this weird Fourth Amendment stuff. Other cities have tried it. Where I came from, Twinsburg had a shining example. They wanted the building inspectors to have rain to go into people's house and verify things, and they always lose. There was a Kent State case, Twinsburg, because I was looking into this, I was like, what chance do we have at getting a warrant to enter someone's house and then maybe to make them take out an oven, maybe not. We don't even know what we really want them to do, we just want to, yep, no one there. Next day, someone moves in, all for nothing. Are you gonna go every day and drive by and harass them like you did with this dirt bike guy? You drive by 3 times?
Wait a minute, I have not harassed him.
Well, you said you drive by every day or every other day.
Well, driving by is not
Okay,
harassment.
all right. More choice of
You're
words.
accusing me of something I didn't do.
You said it.
I know, I didn't ever say I harassed him. I said I drive by 2 or 3 times a week. That's my job.
Okay.
I don't harass people.
Oh. Well, we're gonna spend money on a third-party attorney
Oh, and
to
that's
get you
up
onto
to you
somebody's
guys.
property
That's
for
up to you
$400 an
guys.
hour. That feels like harassment, but it looks like harassment.
That's because they're your personal friends.
Oh, really? Ooh. Okay.
That's what I've been told, that's all.
Well, to be honest, I would never want you on my property either, because that's my right, and I believe in property
I know
rights.
you don't believe,
I do.
my personal opinion, you don't believe in zoning. But like I stated before, if you don't like something in this resolution that we have, change it.
You said there was no resolution about the oven. I asked.
I'm talking about zoning in general. You're giving us the impression, and this is not just coming from me, this is coming from residents in the township, that you are against zoning. You don't believe in zoning. And if that's the case, and there's other people in this room that don't believe in zoning, there's a process to change it. But this is the zoning code we have today. This is what we have to live with, okay? If you don't like that, it's just like the gas station down at the corner. If you don't like the way it's written, then change it. But don't go behind people's backs and do different things. If you don't like it, change it. I've stated that for a year now. That if there's things in the zoning code that people don't like, then go to the zoning commission and change it. There's things in there that I don't necessarily like, but I have to enforce it because it's my job.
The zoning wasn't forced on the township. Everything there is opt-in.
Right.
Any amendment is subject to a referendum.
Absolutely.
We've had referendums in the past. Yeah, there's nothing there that was forced upon the township.
No.
Everything was approved.
And it's ever changing.
Either by vote or by consensus of the voters, because they've had every opportunity to excise any part of that at any point.
Okay, just gotta keep things moving here. So the second Rollins, we're gonna table, we're not making any action on it tonight, because it's like one of those things, we can argue until 4 o'clock in the morning, but I don't know if anybody else needs to get some sleep eventually tonight. All right, NOPEC energizing grant, that is just on there for Mr. Davis to keep it,
You could skip.
keep it straight.
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
I think I'm next, but you could skip me if you want.
Yeah, I just saw those, we can get them out of the way.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, go back to.
Go ahead.
You want-
Go ahead, talk.
I'm gonna switch.
Make it fast.
Switch gears a little bit, get away from zoning for a little bit. The Auburn Road report for April 2026. We did have some snow events last month. We had about 6 events. Some were snow and ice events. We used about 98 tons for March. That brings us to a total of 2,250 tons for the year, which is on the high side. It's average. We have about 750 tons left in the dome to start for next year, so it's a good start. As far as repairs, we continued working on the asphalt roller. They repaired the brakes. They did put the new sprocket and chains on the rollers, and they put some kind of wipes on the drums to keep the asphalt from collecting on it. That's all been repaired. It's up and ready to go. Truck 19 had a pretty severe hydraulic leak. I found the leak in the valve body and I repaired that. Truck 14 had the transmission lines. We had already purchased them. They were sitting there. We did get those put on. And we changed the oil in the F-150. That's about it on the repairs. Storms. We've had multiple storms the last few weeks. I've got every road listed for every day. I'm just gonna go through the dates. Several roads on March 6th, roads on March 9th, or trees down on March 9th, trees down on March 12th, trees down on March 13th. We had trees down on March 15th, March 16th, and March 25th. And each one of those days I had several roads that we, had. Sometimes they were just limbs, not full trees, but limbs, so we had to go in and clean those off. Otarma had some recommendations for us, and we did do some work to make improvements for them. They wanted a divider on our acetylene oxygen cart. I looked into new carts, they were very expensive, so I sent our cart in and had a divider put in it by an Amish guy for like $50. That should divide the 2 tanks. They wanted a steel divider, so we had that done. They wanted some placards on our off-road fuel. I put placards on there. I call her the company that delivers fuel. He sent me some placards. And just recently, we had the emergency kill switch on the new fuel station on the west side of the building. The chief had the electricians come in and move that further away from the tanks so it's accessible if they were to catch fire.
That was per Otarma too.
That was Otarma, yeah. So we are working on some of the Otarma stuff as we get a chance. We have been out cold patching, a lot on Stafford Road, Valley, Washington, East Washington Extension, both the 2 paved crackles we've been on and White Oak. Many holes we see, there isn't tons of them, but as we see them, we try to get those fixed up. And we've been out repairing snowplow damage. From what I can tell, most of the damage was caused by I sent guys out with the loader, push piles back, and they got into some yards and different areas, so we've been out. Anything that I see, we repair, but we have had a couple calls, and as soon as I get the call, I repair them, and, within a day. I get right to the resident and get those cleaned up for them. PJ, Dan and I attended a meeting at the engineers for the opening of the road project bids. I just got a call from Shane tonight. They have not made their final recommendation on who they're going to recommend yet. He still wants to do a little more work on that.
It looks like it's gonna come in under the estimate.
We had a couple bids come in below.
One thing is, I think we might have been one of the last meetings up there that day because they were gonna shut her down for Good Friday, it sounded to me, so.
Right.
We really didn't anticipate getting a recommendation tonight.
But he was nice enough, he made a call and just let me know it wouldn't be ready for this evening, and I said, it's fine. He just wanted some more time to really look at the lowest bid, because there's not a whole lot of information for him to go on. It's a fairly
Reorganized company.
So he assured me that their recommendation will be in for the next meeting. And our bid was 2.25 million, and the bid was 2.225, came in at
1.207.
1.225, came in at
207.
Yeah, 207, so what was that, 18,000, a little bit below. But we've had a pretty rough winter, so there may be extra repairs to do on the roads, so that may chew up that little bit that it came under.
I think I appropriated 1,250.
Right, yeah, a little bit.
You said they didn't pick the company yet. The question is, they don't just pick the lowest automatically?
Lowest or best, they always go by lowest or
Best,
So
got
that's
all the
our-
paperwork must be in order.
They gotta read through all the paperwork and make sure everything's in order, and they have a grade sheet on each company too, to see how they've done in the past. Fortunately, with this company's brand, it's the new one that's up and running now, and they don't have a whole lot of info on it, but 99% of the time it's lowest bid.
So when you were talking about the storm damage and that stuff, I'm dealing with the stuff that Spectrum came through and left deadheads up in the trees in the tree lawn. Anything I can do with that?
Yeah, call Spectrum.
Well,
If
that
they,
didn't work out very well. And it's on the right of way, so it's not my property. I'm not a tree service guy.
I mean, technically, they should have been working in the utility easement, not in the right of way. Most of their work was done in their
I'm just telling
utility
you, you
easement.
left all the branches and stuff stacked in the
What road is
ditch.
that on?
I have pictures of it.
There's no utilities.
There's no utility easement there.
Oh, is that why?
They took all the stuff that was in my ditch that I complained about and threw it into his wood line. My wife watched them do it.
When did they cut that down, recently, or?
No, it's-
About a month ago, maybe 3 months.
I got pictures of it. I'm driving their bucket truck down the road with a guy in the back of the basket, just driving down the road. But, I went out and questioned them and nobody, spoke any English.
Right now.
And then,
We've had hundreds of complaints.
but I've literally got tree heads like this hanging off the thing and I'm like, I'm not going up there, that's a
Hanging off
hazard.
of a wire, hanging off of what thing?
It's hanging off the top of the tree, they didn't cut it all the way through. So when it falls, it's gonna fall in the tail of May.
We're having the same problem in the area. Do you have any idea how to get a hold of Spectrum?
We actually do
Corporate?
have some numbers. If you call up the office, talk to Nancy, she's got a
Okay.
pretty good contact on that.
Because I was gonna go to the county and start, like.
You can call the county.
Okay.
But we've been trying to defer some of the calls because Tom Ross has
Yeah.
just been getting hammered up there, so he fed me a lot of information so that I could kind of explain things to people, because anything that's done in that utility easement, we have zero control over. The township has no control over that at all.
We need to start pressing hard on
So,
Spectrum though. I
so
mean,
since it's not a utility easement,
No, I understand your question, I'm talking to her though, but.
Yeah.
Subdivisions have
Yeah.
utilities
Yes.
behind the 60-foot right of way.
Yeah, it's like 12 feet, and in that
Mhm.
area, we have zero power on. Now, like he's saying, if they're in the right of way, not doing something, then we have some power to make sure they do something, but they don't, if they don't wanna listen, I don't know what to do,
after this big storm, I got a lot of stuff down.
So when the trees are in a county road too, and they take forever to get to it.
And that's in a county road?
On a county road.
You want to give Nancy a call on Wednesday, she does have a couple of
Okay.
contact people that she deals with,
Yeah.
kind of indirect, not the people you want to go through, but she's got a way to
Okay.
Yeah,
get
and-
into the people who tell these people what to do and get them moving.
Good.
And
All
if you
right.
have a problem on a county road, if you call the county
Yeah.
engineer's office,
Yeah.
they'll address it very quickly.
Because my understanding is there's like 3 major tree companies that the county uses to move the trees when they get knocked down and stuff like that, and they don't take care of them as timely as what we have in our township. So I was just trying to understand, they get paid pretty handsomely is my understanding, and then they don't really do their job.
The county
very
has their
well,
own
so-
tree, they have a
Right.
bucket truck and everything.
Right, okay.
They do a lot of their own work. If it's small enough, if
Yeah.
it's huge, then they'll have to contract it
Okay.
out. Same as us.
Okay.
The large stuff we have to contract out.
We just
Yeah,
had one
that-
on Auburn Road, and I mean, it took forever. I mean, it took almost 10
And,
days.
and you said that branch is way up high in the tree, just hanging or not real high?
It's on a treetop, it's a
Like how high?
treetop, just hanging,
How high are you talking? Because we may not have the ability to do
probably
anything. We'll
15,
have,
20 feet.
we might have to sub it out too. If I see something hanging, I'll have to have a tree company come in to clean that out.
Well, I don't feel safe doing it, because it's leaning towards Taylor May, and I don't want to drop a tree on Taylor May.
I said I'd have to hire a tree
Yeah,
company
right, and that's what I'm
to
saying,
do
I
it.
mean, I would do it, but
Oh, we don't have the equipment
I'm not
to do it
capable
either.
of doing it.
Right. Yeah, no, we've had a lot of problems.
I'd like to get your business card, because I'd like to give you a call, and I'll send you the pictures through email.
Well, just give me the address, I'll go look at it.
Okay. I can get that.
You just call up the garage phone and I'll take a look. That's all I have.
Sure.
I'm done.
Any questions from Mike? Only kidding. Okay. All right, PJ, roll it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass for tonight. Most of my stuff was road stuff. Oh, you know what, one more thing is, we got once all the, I don't know, storm of the week goes by again, we gotta go back and readdress that parking lot with, the parking area with the depressed, with the lake up at that mall.
Oh, yeah, we had somebody take a look at that, and he shot some grays up there, and his recommendation is to drop catch basin down to do a little more fall. But the problem with dropping that catch basin is all that water runs to the north. It'll be to the north, right?
It runs out of that catch basin.
It runs to the north, and
Into
then it runs all the way around to this side of the building and then out. And he said the problem is they got the pipe right at the top, so to drop the catch basin.
Water's not getting to the catch basin.
Right. Right. But he shot the grades, and he'd say he'd come up and, shoot them all again just to verify
Yule,
that.
that's the guy's, the Yule, that's who you have up there, yeah.
Excuse me. So I was up there when we got all those heavy rains and that, I've seen the area you're talking about. I have pictures of, it looked like there was a patch job there,
There was.
and it got all pushed back in towards the woods to the south.
Yeah, I think it all came off.
So that's, I don't think lowering the catch basin is gonna do you anything. You have
Well, he
to,
went up with a transit. and
you have to
laser.
address the pitch towards the woods. Because the water's sitting right where the
Right.
patch got taken out of.
There's catch basins all over, we just need to get the water diverted to those basins, is the main thing right now.
I think it's saying if you re-pour the patch, then it can't sit. And it'll just go back to where it
We
used to
need
be.
to do some dirt work underneath, all the asphalt has to come off, do some dirt work and then put asphalt back on, in front of the concrete.
So it doesn't get ripped off again. Well, that'd get that water moving again if we bring it up. The water will get moving back to the basin if it goes back to where it used to be.
Right.
It didn't sit there until now it's in a hole.
Yeah, and I think it heaved up over the winter, which made it worse.
It
It
did.
settled down a little bit, that lake's not quite as big, but there's a lake there we need to address.
But that's where you start, is with the transit, and then let's go up there and do it again, see what we got. So,
Get meet up there, shoot all the trees.
Can you experience how much time would, weather-wise, to get more, the final settling on that?
Yeah, and we're getting pretty good right now, I think. Everything's going out pretty well. I think most of the frost is out of the frost. I think so, yeah.
that was all I had to add.
Okay.
Go on, Mike.
That it, PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Back to you, sorry. A gentleman from Moreland Lane called. I was gonna email you this, but I just wanted to tell you real quick now. He's asking about a no outlet sign because they stubbed Moreland, basically dead head into a field. He's the last driveway on the right, so every single delivery truck all day long is beating up his concrete because they have to use him to turn around because it's, his neighbor across the street has a fence, a gate on his driveway.
Right.
So,
He's got it, he's gonna have concrete where they're turning around. He's got gravel at the end of the drive. where it
yeah, a
meets the
couple
asphalt.
feet.
About 12, but yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, his point is that he says, did he call you about it? Or?
He's called me 1,000 times.
Oh, really?
Go ahead, yeah.
Oh, okay, actually, I didn't know that. That makes sense, he reached out to me. All right, so.
He's called the sheriff on
Okay.
the school buses turning around, he's done everything, but yeah, go ahead.
Is a sign a thing we can do, no outlet? I know that it might not rectify everything, but if it makes him happy, is it?
It could, but I mean, you can see it, it's only, that road's only so long, you can see there's no turnaround, so I'm not sure. I mean, we could.
Why they do that, why the drivers do it? I don't know.
I mean, when they could turn, usually they turn around right, where the,
In the cul-de-sac.
or they turn around at that intersection, and that's what the school bus does, is turns around that and bumps his mailbox.
When he was on the phone with me,
Right.
and he took a live picture of Amazon doing it, and then sent it to me, I was like, okay. He's like, it's all day, every day, I'm just burnt out with it, I want him to damage my driveway. So he asked mainly about a sign.
We could do that, I mean, it's.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, I don't know.
Right.
It seems like if he's called you a million times and he's
Well,
calling me
just
now.
during construction, you had all kinds of complaints, but yeah.
All the road was being done. And Frank will double down on this. Back in the day, they would put temporary cul-de-sacs at property lines right there. And then the planning commission was who regulated that, and they backed away from doing that. They allowed these dead ends.
I've done what you're saying, but it was on a different situation where you couldn't see what was going on down there, and they were using a cul-de-sac as a turnaround, and they didn't want it, so I've done that, I've put up signs like that.
I don't know where the best spot for it is or anything, but if we try it, it works half the time, it's gonna rectify quite a bit for him, I'm guessing.
So
If that's okay.
Up to you guys, whatever you want, that's fine.
Do we got any no outlet signs up there?
No, I have to order one, pay for one.
What's something like that run?
Probably around, just for the sign, probably around $60, $70. And then a couple posts.
Do you think it's a good idea based on him reaching out to you also, or?
Fine,
Yeah, all right, well, okay, so that's all.
Whatever they want.
And then, I met a contractor up, to start looking at bathrooms, at the park today, and I go there a lot with my son for the playground. Is it a lot to ask if, I know mulch is generally cheap, single ground or double ground, whatever we use, $5 a yard. When you originally put the mulch in that playground.
It's special mulch, it's not
Okay.
regular mulch, it's gotta be disinfected.
Okay.
It's pretty pricey for when it.
It may need,
Yeah,
there's every so often. and-
There's some spots that are like, well, the footer for the one toy is now exposed, and it's just sharp.
Yeah, we can have some.
We have
Even
to-
spot
we have
check
to
it.
keep it at a
You know,
specific
Carver
level.
recommends it.
7-inch or
It's up.
9-inch, yeah.
Right.
It has a measuring tape. The entire perimeter of the playground, the black guard, is a measuring tape, so you can keep an eye on your heights. which I thought was interesting, but, yeah, there's some spots that are pretty rough in there.
Yeah, we could add some. That's not a
Just
problem.
for that, because the season's coming now.
Mhm.
So that was the only second thing I wanted to ask, if you could
No,
look at it.
absolutely. It needs done, you're right.
Yeah, just get
Do you
something.
have any, or is it you have to order?
No, you have to order that, and they shoot it in with the truck.
Oh, do you?
So we gotta wait till it's good and dry, because there's pretty wet back there.
You know, we
Unless
can
you get it
back
from the
them,
side.
we can back them on that road. Back on in
You
there.
remember what it cost the last time we had that done?
I wouldn't even venture a guess, I know it wasn't, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Was it topped off, or when it was built?
No, it was topped, just,
Just
we had it
topped off?
topped off
We've
before.
topped it off before, yeah,
You remember the name of the company?
I have to look
Well, if you can find an old invoice or something,
Sure.
and just because I know people are gonna start using it, and it needs a little tune-up for,
it up. Absolutely.
Well, it's a maintenance thing, we just have to keep it done.
Right.
I appreciate it. though.
Pretty insurance too.
So yeah, that was all I had to bother you about. So Adam Hall, I do have the scope of work built, so we could keep moving along with that. I need to build it, I guess, so I can get it onto our website and Facebook and start getting some bids for that. So that's my next step with Adam Hall. We can set some deadlines and review accordingly.
Have you checked with the building department to see what kind of drawings they would require? It's kind of the same thing we went on over here, where you had to have, to get the building permit, you're gonna need specific drawings. So I don't know if they're what kind of.
From ours or from the county?
County.
County building permits to redo a roof?
I believe
Okay, I can
so.
check, yeah, I'll check.
Yeah, well, just double check that.
Yeah,
make
if
sure-
there are permits required.
Yeah, if the permits are required for what we're doing.
Permits
And like I
from
said,
county.
because I think if you were just doing a re-roof, just re-shingle, then you wouldn't require one. Because we're putting something different on it. Frank, probably what we're talking about with the second layer roof on there,
Yeah, if you're gonna, I think you probably, I would definitely check with them and see, yes.
okay.
All right, I have
Because
that noted.
it's, you know, it's structural. Shingles, putting the second layer of shingles is not structural, but if you're gonna put the steel roof, which I think is a good idea, you know, that's.
It's good, hurt to ask them.
Yeah, no, I wrote it down, thank you. Next is town hall update. I spoke with the contractor today. The demo part of it is kind of quick and easy, but the county, I'm told, really doesn't want the job to start until the drawings are approved. So he said, not this week coming, but the week following, more than likely, that should all be taken care of. I know Mr. Kitco asked me about it, and at the time, I wasn't really sure. I know they were working on the drawings, but that's where it's at. Once the county approves, they don't want them to demo it until the whole thing's
No, that
approved.
makes sense.
So they didn't start tearing it out like they thought they were going to prior. And I said that as well, I apologize, that they could do at least the demo quickly. Well, apparently it's all gonna happen at the same time. So that's the update for town hall. Frank Adanucci touched on a lot of the cemetery stuff, but I've done a lot of work with that. Mark, we have a new laptop on order. I also went ahead and got an email created, which we haven't done before. We didn't have an email listed, and I thought it was a good way for residents to ask about plots and that, versus just calling, leaving voicemails. So the email that's on the website now is sexton@auburntownship.com. Now, how we set it up, how I asked for it to be set up is that multiple people can monitor this inbox. Mr. Fenstermaker's email is included on there, Mr. Matsko, myself, admin. So if Mark were to go on vacation or something like that, we could keep up with the inbox and the residents, critical tasks. It'll be a big improvement as to versus not having an email at all. I also built a flash drive for him with all the data, tried to simplify it. I fixed the deed paperwork, we've been printing it, the margins and format's been screwed up probably for a decade or more. So I've been going through fixing what we have, working with Mark. I actually met with him twice. We have about 2.5 hours into this so far, just in the last week, trying to get him up to speed. I told him I will not let him fail at this, and we have a second plan always in place between the email and the phone calls being screened ahead of time, that we're not going to miss anything like the residents had brought up before, they were not getting callbacks and things like that. So I'm trying to make this very simple for us moving forward, and we'll bridge the gap to ADP. Once they get to us, we'll have a really good working system. So I did a lot of work with that this week, the last couple weeks, actually. Also
As far as the receipt books,
oh yes, we're implementing,
Nancy told Mark today that the receipt books are in, and that she's off tomorrow, but she'd pick them up Wednesday.
so special receipt books were purchased specific to the cemetery. It's a small but critical control. So Mark can be in the field, receive monies, and account for it properly. Before, there's just some confusion and about who was handling money and how it was coming in and when it was getting receipted. And so we're trying to correct that quickly. So that was a nice improvement as well. Back at our park, I met with one of the Eagle Scout candidates, and he has a phenomenal idea for his project. I'm not going to steal his thunder, so I'm not going to give you any insight into it, but I'm assuming the next meeting, or maybe the one after that, he'll be coming and presenting. So I look forward to it because it's actually a really good improvement. And I mentioned before, I do have a call-in for split rail and black metal, or black metal to match the cemetery for Adam Hall, just because it's not too complicated to fix up all the split rails that are rotted and broken. They're starting to look pretty bad. So I do have that call-in, so I hope this week I get a quote. But I also asked for the more expensive option if the residents so choose and they want to match it to the cemetery. If not, that's fine too. So we should have two options to review there. And then, last but not least, you know, I'm gonna roll this in if you don't mind, this Nature Works grant. It's on the agenda here. So the big question is, for bathrooms, we have the septic system in place up at the park. I believe I can get bathrooms in before fall. The problem with that is we run the risk of maybe not being able to participate in the Nature Works grant. But again, that's assuming we get funds. So the way that shakes out, total funding has not been approved for the 2026 cycle. I asked specifically if we could apply it retrospectively. They said no. So my point is, I could get bathrooms in, so when it's super crowded up there, football, lacrosse, whatever's going on this fall and summer, the families can use the bathrooms because we got the septic in there. The problem is we run the risk of not maybe getting, you know, grants or free money towards the project. If we want to maybe get grant money from either the state, which Mr. Matsko is working hard on, he submitted that, but that window comes up in May, he said, possibly.
I think so, yeah, I'll double check.
We might find out if we get state money soon, maybe. But Nature Works, we'd have to hold the project till '27. I don't know how to make that decision on my own. I'm looking for insight from you guys if it's worth the, I don't want to call it a gamble, but to possibly get money.
Again, you know, if you're looking for an opinion, I'd say it's worth the gamble.
To wait?
Yes, we've been running off of porta potties up there for many years. One more year is gonna kill us. And, you know, if we're talking a significant amount of money toward the project.
I don't know how to read this. Geauga County got an allocation of, that's not us, that's the whole county.
Correct.
So if you, I don't know who gets the chunk of it. I don't know.
Have we gotten it in the past?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what we did.
Pavilion.
The pavilion, the playground, maybe 2 shots at the
I said,
playground.
yeah, you never know what you're gonna get, but.
So we have a lot of time to apply for it. It's up till July. So if that's what you guys want to do, that's fine. I'll make the application. Because I've been talking to her about it for like a month on it, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking back, I think we've made good applications. We've worked with Chagrin Watershed Partners, Riley, we talked about this early on.
That's what I'm reading.
I don't think we've ever missed out on an application. Now, yeah, they always put a total amount to the county, and you're probably gonna share it with some other some other project somewhere else in the county. But if you come up with a good application, this one is, I would think there's gonna be some funding available. So gamble a little bit, but
Nancy said they've got
you're likely to come up with some help.
interns, they brought in an intern to
They kind of
work on-
shut down their applications over a couple of years after COVID. They ran out of money supposedly and some sponsors, but now I guess that's all
Got
back
an
up
intern
and
working
running.
on the grant, so
Yeah.
that
All
would be
right, so
helpful.
we'll get that application in by the deadline, I believe it was July 1st, and then we find out announced in November or later. So no bathrooms at the park for 2026. We'll have to work on it in 2027 then if
Well,
we're gonna.
the
Well, other than the
porta
porta potty. No new bathrooms. So the septic will sit
Unless
idle.
that capital, that state funding may come in.
If that's a, yeah, good amount we can match on that, yeah. Okay.
We've already discussed the match.
Yes. That is all for me, thank you.
Okay. What you got, Dan?
Okay, since our last meeting on March 16th, I processed 22 electronic payments totaling $78,714.71 and 18 warrants totaling $16,285.01 for a total of $94,999.72. I was able to reconcile March with the bank, and in our primary, at the end of March, we had in our primary checking with Middlefield, now Farmers Bank, $1,623,751.31. In our Star Ohio investment account, $2,047,765.45, for a total of $3,671,516.76. We started getting calls this past week from some of our vendors saying, hey, where's our money, and some invoices. Turns out there were 11 warrants that we processed at the March 2nd meeting that when Nancy either put them in the mailbox or took them to the post office, they're lost in somewhere in the postal, whatever you want to call it. So none of those checks have cleared the bank. One of them I did issue a stop payment on because of the amount, and we are probably not going to get another bill from them, maybe not even next year. So, but I voided all those checks and reissued them.
Nancy said that was the same mailing that,
Oh, the deed,
the deed, we had a cemetery deed that was missing, which is why we signed
Yeah, we
additional.
haven't said another deed. PJ, last meeting, you weren't sure if we had spent the money on that cemetery grant. I did some research, and back in early July of last year, we had contracted with JFD Landscapes to do some work around Town Hall, Admin Building, and Shady Side to remove stump grindings and plant material in southeast corner of front lawn, all the way debris grade to blend in the surrounding lawn areas, and install necessary screen topsoil, grass seed, and shredded straw to the above area. Total was $2,070.39. The end of July, you submitted that grant. It got approved in August. It said for that exact amount of money, the award must be used to clear the overgrown area where a tree was removed in accordance with your grant application. And then in November, we got a bill from, October we got a bill, and on November 3rd, we paid that bill. So
Yeah.
we got the money in and the money went out.
And JFD worked real well with us on that. too.
Yeah. I sent an email out to all of you regarding our Amazon Prime account. We have a Amazon Prime business account. Our membership is coming due at the end of April. It's $129, but as members of the Ohio Township Association, we get a free Amazon Business Prime membership. So I asked in my email if I recommended that we open up that account and that maybe Nancy close out the one we got. Haven't gotten any response, so I don't know what does the board want to do.
Yeah, definitely, if we can get it free, then close out the other one.
Okay. So,
Free is good.
all right. Do that. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Get down to the wire here. Okay, Dan, you're not off the hook yet. That was the email that you had sent me looking at the administrative assistant position.
Yes.
Okay. Dan had a few points to make up, and it said to me as chairman, I said, okay, well, any decisions that have to be made by the board. So, if you still have that available, if you wanna, I mean, a couple of points are pretty straightforward. One of which is, he thought it was a good opportunity now, since we're looking for an administrative assistant, to try to come up with a job description for an administrative assistant. Now, that being said, we have a lot of different descriptions for administrative assistant.
Yeah.
Depending which side of the fence you're on. So,
Well, the
me
point-
personally, I agree with that, but I think, we're gonna have to, I had Nancy, I believe, gave us some information on, I've been having her gather up job descriptions from various townships. So we've got those available, I think she put it in all your folders.
Well,
So-
my point of my email was I mentioned that back in January when Nancy was requesting a vacation that would maybe keep her out of the office for 2 straight weeks. At that time, I thought, well, what are all the things that she does for the fiscal office? And, just the fiscal office alone, I came up with a, pretty healthy list of tasks that she does to support us. And based on that, it's been since the first, March 2nd, when Nancy submitted her resignation letter to retire. I've not been kept in the loop as far as you all have had the opportunity to review the applicants. I haven't. So I guess the question is the new administrative assistant going to continue to support the fiscal office? And if that person is, am I going to get an opportunity to review the application and be part of the process?
I'd say, well, yes, you should be part of the process. Obviously, we do the hiring, but since we have been given support over the years, we may have to streamline some things, because even though, you have an assistant, but she's not here all the time, so I'm assuming she does a lot of the things already, but
She just does the minutes and the payroll pretty much primarily. All the other tasks that Nancy does to support the fiscal office. I know if you look at the South Russell Village job description, they have 45% supports the village, 45% supports the fiscal office, 5% supports the cemetery sexton, and the other 5 supports other. And even Mike, that person interacts with the road superintendent on a daily basis. So, I mean,
South Russell Village is a little bit different, because they only have one person.
no,
As far as I know, they have the administrative assistant, who also basically functions as the fiscal officer assistant, correct?
Right, that's the full-time, but I think they also have a part-time assistant. So they have 2 people, a full-time and then a part-time.
Okay. All right, well, I'll make a motion that we should let Dan be involved in, at least, as part of the selection process for the administrative assistant and get him a copy of all the applications and resumes, whatever we have. And as I said, we're, one of the things we have now, we're gonna have to schedule some interviews. And Dan's always there for the interview process anyway. So just to give you a heads up. As, well, you haven't done too much interviews since you've been in the thing, but historically, we will have an executive session for going through the potential employees.
Do we know what we're looking for? Do we have a policy that indicates what we're looking for in this person, or? I mean, I kind of have an idea what would support the fiscal office.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and none of these are direct apples to apples comparisons. Obviously, South Russell's a village, and the council hires the fiscal officer. It's not an elected position. Bainbridge Township, just recently, here a week and a half ago or whatever, redid their job description for administrative assistant to the Board of Trustees. It is a part-time job, hourly. Strictly administrative. Of course, the other thing to remember about Bainbridge is they actually have an administrator over there. So this is an assistant to the person that the trustees hire.
And plus they have
So we're not looking at any direct
two fiscal
comparison.
assistants, so.
Yeah.
So Newberry, if you want me to just comment real fast, Newberry has administrative assistant and cemetery sexton, so she does both full-time, and we used to have part-time, and they didn't ever pan out, so we made it full-time. And then we have a zoning, BZA/zoning admin person, who's part-time. So, I don't know if that's comparable to you guys, I think that's kind of, Russell has a lot more money than I think both of us, and then Bainbridge is like a city, so. And then Munson, I think Munson is similar to us too, I think they have two, I think they might have a fiscal officer, secretary, though, I think, part-time, so.
Okay, so I think that, right now, I think that would get us going if we get you the thing and motion in that you be part of the selection process. That's a motion.
Second. PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Okay, so Nancy's out tomorrow, she'll be in, I'll have her copy you on whatever we have.
Is there a plan to do anything between now and the next meeting?
That, absolutely maybe. 'Cause that's the next thing we have on the agenda here is, well, under new business is to schedule interviews for the administrative assistant position. So, what I would like to do is we have, I think we're right around 10 applicants.
I think we're a dozen, and I think I saw a new one tonight with my stuff.
Yeah, they're still coming in.
13.
I think maybe we should go, exactly logistically how we pull this off. But to go through and have each person go through each of the, some of them you're gonna look at and say, yeah, I don't want, right off the bat, don't want this, or yeah, these are my top contenders. Maybe if each of us take a look at it and say, what are our top 5 out of the 10 or 6 out of the 12?
Yeah.
Or just, and just, then at the next meeting, we can come up with a list of people we think would be the logical candidates for doing the interviews.
I wouldn't limit the interviews to 5 individuals.
Well, not any specific
We'll
number.
see who shows up.
Yeah, whatever
the
comes
most
in.
often, yeah.
But, I mean, right off the bat, if there's somebody that's completely not qualified for the job or is already working for somebody for $300,000 a year, I don't wanna waste their time by having them come in, they're not going to be either suitable or, we're not gonna be suitable for them.
So hypothetically, the next meeting's 4/20, and then if we were to make a decision or make the hire, it would be into May. And then if they give a 2-week notice, and how
Yeah,
much
they've
time do we
already-
have, Nancy, for,
Well,
how many days?
see, the good thing about the way Nancy's been working with using up her vacation, we've learned how to operate with having a administrative assistant 1, possibly 2 days a week, so, you know, we'll get through it, but, you know, I don't wanna I mean, I could say, okay, let's make a meeting, you know, we'll have a special meeting, let's say Saturday morning, and set up interviews for everybody and go through them. You know, that's a possibility also if we wanna keep expedited, but, just not really sure. I want everybody to have a chance to go through it, and like I said, just pick out what we really think are the viable candidates before we do the interview process. Now, what we could possibly do is, I hate to bring people in for, you know, to waste their time. So for the 20th.
I'm on vacation the 21st through the 28th.
Okay.
We have a special meeting before the 20th, so then you could make some public decisions on the 20th.
Yeah, maybe have a special meeting, yeah, thinking, what day is good for you guys?
Give me an approximate.
I'm saying for us to have a meeting where we can,
Give me an approximate. What are you looking at? Thursday evening, a Saturday morning, or what?
oh, I said, I'm available anytime, so I can work around it.
9 and Thursday the 9th, okay?
Well, I'd say after 3 o'clock.
Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. This Thursday the 9th?
Thursday the 9th?
Oh, this Thursday?
You don't leave yet, correct?
No, but that's the candidates night at the
Oh, right,
library.
okay, I don't want to do that. Friday? Early evening, I mean, whatever you guys want.
Now, we're used to Mondays, how about next Monday at 7 o'clock? Just have a quick meeting to, just go over, let's say, a final list of candidates that we have interviews for. And then we could actually set up, if we do that on Monday,
13th, 7 p.m.
You have to advertise that.
so you'll have to advertise the meeting on Monday, so I got Nancy do that on Wednesday. And then when we make a decision, how many people we need to do our interviews for, and do a special meeting maybe Saturday morning, schedule 20-minute interviews.
For interviews. Yeah.
Starting at like 8
Yeah,
o'clock or
Some
so.
of that's gonna depend on the people who choose too, because scheduling is scheduling for a bunch of people, so.
No, that's why I'm looking at at a Saturday, because, well, we'll address that after we get through the initial list of people and candidates.
24-hour notice for the meeting. Website.
Yeah. That'd be not a problem. Okay, so we're scheduled then for 13th at 7 o'clock. Okay, what we got here? KCE Board open positions. I think we should schedule interviews for those May 4th. Because I think we're gonna have our hands full on the 20th.
Yeah, we got 2 applicants, 2 letters of interest. I think they meet quarterly. I know they had their first quarter meeting, and I'm not sure when their second quarter meeting is scheduled. So, pretty good chance we can fill the other position before the next meeting, but I'm not sure when their schedule is for their second meeting of the year.
Okay, so we'll keep that on the back there. Interviews, May 4th. All right, and then Jag County Engineer's Office recommends 9751 Washington Street for parcel number 01-093850. You guys okay with that?
Sounds good.
Right across from Auburn Lakes,
Yeah.
if you need to know.
Yeah.
Right across from the Auburn Lakes Drive, the main drive to Auburn Lakes.
I always like the fact that, you know, want our opinion on what an address is. We should send one back and just move it by one digit, just to be persnickety with it. So, anybody got a problem with that?
There's a motion to approve.
I'll second.
EJ,
Yep.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Oh my God, that got us through the list. All right, comments, questions, criticisms?
I checked the website on the agenda for tonight, and it was the same agenda from like a week and a half ago. Is there any way we can get an updated agenda? Because when I came in and read the agenda form, I had no idea all these other people were showing up.
Is there any, I notice sometimes if you don't refresh it, you have to refresh our website to.
Yeah, and I tried it, he was right, I looked at, because I looked at it too and realized I needed to come down here and get one. But on that, in this case, it hadn't been updated. Yeah, even right now, it's still on a fresh page.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, as your newly appointed tech liaison, I will watch it, you know, but I'll give Miss Nancy credit. Today, as soon as I got my list of things to do together, I said, hey, let's get that Sexton email up on the website. I sent it in there and it was up there. So that was cool.
I was wondering, 'cause like I said, I thought this would be over by like 8:30 and then.
No, we don't have like a simple procedure. I mean, we never had in the history of Auburn, ever, the agenda wasn't made available in advance unless you came down here. So, I mean, it wasn't a joke, but I was coming down here and getting it as soon as they were printed and putting it on Facebook, and people showed up, they're like, wow, I saw your Facebook post. I was like, this should be standardized. So, but we don't have a policy in place to make it happen consistently. Like, it's not on, if it's not on Facebook or it might be on the website, it's kind of counterproductive. It's just something we need to work on as a team and just get consistent at it. And then the residents will know what to expect.
Yeah, because Nancy was only in, what, one day last week, and then we had Good Friday, so
And I
I'm
kinda
sure
get
it just
that.
got lost in the shuffle.
And
Wonder if
there's,
there's a way to be more expedient on it.
there's a call a week ahead of time if you want to be on the agenda, which, that's in the organizational minutes, and do we stick with that to the letter? No. Most of this motocross track thing, those people called last week early and said, we'd like to come up, so we added them.
Real like that.
The other question I had, Mike, from 2 months ago, when I questioned about the Auburn Fire Department's meetings being public, have you gotten a decision on that? Is it public or is it private, or can the residents show up to them or not?
Okay. We just got we had the response from the prosecutor's office. I'm going to make a motion to be able to respond to that question with the information we received as private and confidential from the prosecutor's office.
I will second that.
Just pertaining to answer that question, because her answer to that, I believe, is important and also affects the fire department. I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I've been wondering how to bring this up without bringing it up because, well, anyway, one second.
I second that.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Okay. One moment, please. Okay. The board's, okay, this was Auburn, again, just the way we worded it, we were also in agreement to include asking if the Auburn Fire Department board meetings are open to the public. I reference a recent Geauga County case from the Court of Claims, 23-00503 PQ. The board's question conflates two concepts under Ohio law, whether an entity is a public body under the Open Meetings Act, RC 121.22, whether an entity is a public office that must comply with the Public Records Act, RC 149.43. At this time, I will not offer an opinion to this board as to whether the Auburn Fire Department, the AFD board, is a public body under RC 121.22. That question is best posed to the AFD, who can consult with their own legal counsel to determine whether its meetings are required to be open to the public. However, it is my opinion that I hereby advise that the AFD is a public office under RC 149.43 that must comply with the Public Records Act. Our office recently successfully litigated this exact issue against the Munson Fire Department, which was refusing to provide some records to the township and was improperly redacting information on the records that were provided. I'm attaching a copy of the opinion from the Ohio Court of Claims, which details the relevant analysis. If the AFD is refusing to provide records to the township or is improperly redacting documents, the board can provide me further details and we can discuss legal remedies available to the township. That was the case that you had referenced, and so basically she's saying, yep, that was specifically about records and I'm all about records. But again, at this time, I will not offer an opinion as to whether the Auburn Fire Department Board is a public body. So, I knew you'd asked me that a couple of weeks ago, Keith, and
Just wondered if it had come in yet, sure.
and at that time, it had not, and it subsequently has come in, but there's your answer,
Cool, thank you.
and there's your answer, for whatever it's worth. So basically, the answer was check with their attorney.
And we will do so.
All right, any other questions, comments, criticisms? I'm gonna take that and make a motion to adjourn, so we can all go home a little bit.
Yeah, I'll second that.
PJ,
Yep.
Riley.
Yes.
Michael.
Good cheer for tonight.
You get all that?
Yeah, the part that